Today is Tuesday, March the 10th. I'm Debbie Monterrey.
I'm Sean Malone. The former Speaker of the Missouri House has been sentenced to prison. Will he spend that time behind bars? I've got that story coming up.
I'm Megan Lynch.
I'm Maria Aquino with a rare look at the life of a St. Louis firefighter and the added struggles of 5 African-American women who are now captains.
I'm Tom Ackerman with the Cardinals in Jupiter. It was bombs away, a power surge against the Orioles for the club. We'll have it for you at 6:15.
We'll also check the forecast for you. It looks like we're going to have a sunny day, a high of 84.
Coming up, we've got the latest from CBS News, conflicting statements from the Trump administration on how much longer the war with Iran may go on. At the tone, it's 6 o'clock in mid-America.
Celebrating 100 years of informing and entertaining. KMOX AM St. Louis, KMOX FM Hazelwood, the voice of St. Louis.
This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by JTV.com.
I'm Deborah Rodriguez. Day 11 of the Iran war, and President Trump is delivering mixed messages on how long it'll go on.
The military success that we've had is truly unprecedented.
He told CBS he thinks the conflict is very complete, pretty much. The president later said it would go on for now. And there's a caveat. More from CBS's Jared Hill.
The president doubled down on social media overnight, warning death, fire, and fury will rain upon Iran if they do anything to stop the flow of oil through the Strait of Hormuz.
Gas prices are still climbing. They're up 6 cents over yesterday to a national average of $3.54 a gallon. CBS News contributor J.D. Durkin.
It is a pretty historic spike of volatility. 20% of global oil specifically goes through the Strait of Hormuz. So it certainly remains to be seen what happens to the overall supply and, of course, the general pricing concerns.
A gallon of regular in California is at an average of $5.29 this morning. Los Angeles Iranian community cheering the president on. CBS News LA's Lori Perez.
So whether the war has done enough or hasn't done enough, to some Iranian immigrants, it has done something after decades of oppression. Hamid Rezapour is the man behind LA's massive Iranian rallies.
I want to tell you something very simple. People in my country doesn't have any support inside. And that's the reason we will say, thank you, President Trump.
Tens of thousands of Iranians have packed up and left Tehran and other cities to wait out the war in small, remote towns with friends and relatives. JetBlue passengers were left in the lurch by a brief ground stop overnight. The airline cites an unspecified system outage. It's over now, but major delays continue at airports as more TSA workers sick out for lack of paychecks. Transportation correspondent Chris Van Cleve.
Now, some airports are telling flyers to get here at least 3 hours before their flights. This surge in wait times comes as the airlines are preparing to fly 171 million people for spring break, and as a partial government shutdown over the Trump administration's immigration policies enters its 4th week.
NBA's canceled the Atlanta Hawks planned tribute to Atlanta's Magic City Strip Club during a game against the Magic. CBS's Michael Wallace.
It would have included the club's merchandise, music, and its signature lemon pepper chicken wings, named after former Hawks guard Lou Williams. The NBA has stepped in and called it off, saying a broad array of the league's fans, partners, and employees raised significant concerns. The Hawks say they are disappointed in the NBA's decision, but respect it.
This is CBS News.
Looking for spring jewelry looks? Find them at Jewelry Television. New customers get $20 off purchases of $99 or more at JTV.com.
At 6:03, we have clear skies, 64 degrees downtown at the Arch. Today is Tuesday, March 10th. I'm Megan Lynch.
And I'm Debbie Monterrey. Former Missouri House Speaker John Deal is being sentenced to 21 months in prison, followed by a year of probation, and must also pay a $50,000 fine. Deal pled guilty to wire fraud after taking out a PPP loan of about $400,000 for his law firm, only to spend it on personal luxuries. Deal repaid the money to the federal government before pleading guilty and asked for a sentence without incarceration. But prosecutor Hal Goldsmith says returning what you stole shouldn't substitute punishment.
This defendant didn't take on additional jobs. He didn't take on multiple jobs. He didn't sell assets in order to be able to make restitution. He simply had the ability, based upon his substantial net worth, to write a check.
Goldsmith says with many other pandemic fraud cases, restitution is harder to make because they lack the wealth the Deal has.
St. Louis County Executive CM Page won't be facing a jury trial after all. Page appeared in a Greene County courtroom yesterday The judge allowed prosecutors to charge him by information rather than indictment, which is often done for speed and efficiency when a defendant waives their right to a grand jury.
Page is facing 2 felony and 2 misdemeanor counts that were filed by former Attorney General Andrew Bailey. Bailey accused Page of using taxpayer or county taxpayer funds for a spring 2024 mailing about Proposition B. Page says the mailers were informational and that he got legal advice before sending them.
A hitman in Collinsville murder for hire plot has been found guilty. 46-year-old Gary Johnson found guilty of first-degree murder in connection with the killing of 32-year-old Portia Rowland. Rowland killed in her driveway in January of 2025. Johnson faced the first day of his trial yesterday. He's one of 3 men charged for Rowland's murder. The other 2 have not faced trial.
Johnson told investigators he was offered $10,000 to kill Rowland. Investigations revealed Rowland was in a relationship with the wife of 37-year-old Sammy Schaefer. Schaefer has been charged for acting as the main conspirator in that murder.
Police say a 19-year-old was shot by his brother early Monday morning in downtown St. Louis. The shooting happened around 12:30 a.m. in a car near Busch Stadium. Police suspect the victim shot in the back twice by his 17-year-old brother. Our partners at Fox 2 report the victim was transported to a nearby hospital with serious injuries. His brother is in custody.
A new public-private partnership aims to keep more of Midtown's tax dollars local.
The group is pushing for a new tax district encompassing many of Midtown's business corridors, arguing there needs to be greater public investment in improving the safety and beauty of their streets and walkways. Chris Hansen with the Kranzberg Arts Foundation says he hopes the before and after looks like the Cortex District's redevelopment.
The comparison is more the conditions of that area before they started, the public improvements that were made, and then how that catalyzed growth. The difference, though, with this is there is no private developer incentives anywhere in our TIF.
Their TIF would take half of all future tax revenue generated by property tax increases in their district into a fund for public infrastructure improvements like lighting, sidewalk repair, and more. Sean Malone, KMOX News.
Residents in the Metro East have found E. coli in their drinking water. Those findings come after Cahokia Heights residents organized a community-wide testing of water from their kitchen taps. The Belleville News-Democrat reports the results of the testing contradict test results from Illinois American Water and the city of Cahokia Heights, who supplies the water. Their water testing has not reported E. coli for the past 15 years. But the contradictory tests raise new questions about public health in a city that deals with constant sewage spills and flooding.
State education officials say the pool of teens heading to college is shrinking.
Higher Education and Workforce Development Commissioner Ben Boggs says 56% of high school seniors go to college right away.
What if we could find a way to just broaden a bit to get more high school seniors immediately? Would that take more dual credit, dual enrollment? What can we do to get them started so that they see us as the natural next step moving forward?
Boggs says there's another large potential pool of students, hundreds of thousands of Missourians who started college but never finished. Boggs made the comments at last week's Coordinating Board for Higher Education meeting. Beth Coughlin, KMOX News.
From the KMOX business desk, a Build-A-Bear strike is scheduled for Saturday in front of the company's headquarters at Union Station. United Food and Commercial Workers Local 655 has filed an unfair labor practice charge against the company after 4 employees were fired. Workers at the Union Station store voted unanimously in January to unionize.
A Build-A-Bear spokesperson tells the Business Journal the workers were fired for violating company policy regarding customer reward points and bonus club reward certificates. The unfair labor practice charge is pending at the National Labor Relations Board. That strike Saturday runs from 10:30 to 7.
It is now 6:08, and we are going to get you updated on traffic and weather in just 2 minutes. Thanks for being with us this morning on Total Information AM.
When it comes to your hearing, you deserve expert care. At the Audiology Center, you're treated by certified audiologists Dr. Colleen Bosler, Dr. Adam Foss, and Dr. Bailey Campbell, meaning 8 years of advanced education, clinical expertise, and a commitment to best practices.
Charlie, we offer hearing aids from all major manufacturers, so you get what's best for you. Every patient receives individualized testing, precise fittings using real ear measurements, and personalized programming to ensure your hearing aids perform exactly as they should. And our care doesn't stop once you leave the office. We're committed to helping your hearing aids last through ongoing adjustments, maintenance, and long-term support at no extra cost. Better hearing is personal, not one size fits all. Call us today at 636-441-7470 or visit us online at theaudiologycenterstl.com. And let's take that first step together.
I'm Piera Palazzolo, VP of Digital Marketing for the American Management Association, a company focused on the management training skills needed to enhance the careers of business professionals. We did our research when it came to the best companies for website development and chose AmericanEagle.com. And we couldn't be happier. AmericanEagle.com worked closely with us to understand the front and back end requirements needed to launch an e-commerce website that could handle the complexities of running thousands of seminars nationwide. Our robust new website and improved SEO saw immediate increases in site traffic and web revenue. If you're in need of managerial effectiveness and success, visit our website at amanet.org. If you're in need of a website that provides an unparalleled consumer experience, I highly recommend AmericanEagle.com.
Transform your business today. Dial 877-WEB-NOW-1 for a free digital consultation with AmericanEagle.com.
This hour of Total Information AM is sponsored by Gamma Tree Experts.
6:10, time to head back to the overhead door company of St. Louis Traffic Center. Roger Brown, how's it look?
Well, it's not bad, Megan. Everything's still easy going, cruising along for the most part. I keep looking at areas where we had problems. We had a crash reported South 270 near Doherty Ferry on the shoulder involving a semi and a passenger car. Still don't see it, and I still obviously don't see any delays there. They're working. MoDOT just updated westbound 70 past Wentzville Parkway. They have a lane down for road work. Again, I don't see any delays either direction. It looks good there. They also just reported a crash eastbound 70 at 79 involving a dump truck. Again, this one's reportedly on the shoulder, and there are no delays at that point. So even where there are potential troubles like lane restrictions or incidents, they're not causing any delays. We look good in the rest of the construction zones on both sides of the river. The new one that started yesterday after the rush hour was eastbound 70 past Packers Avenue. That'll be out there into the summer. Isn't going to be, I'm sure it won't be an issue this morning, but it was yesterday afternoon. It will be obviously every afternoon until they complete that project. Next update at 6:20 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Sunshine mixing with clouds today. A breezy, very warm afternoon. Our high 84. The record is 86. Set back in 1955. Breezy and mild tonight with plenty of clouds, along with a couple of severe thunderstorms moving through, particularly after midnight. They can produce flooding downpours, large hail, damaging winds, and perhaps a tornado. Tonight's low 60. Windy and turning much cooler tomorrow with rain and a thunderstorm around through early afternoon. The high 67, though temperature will dive into the upper 40s by sunset. Sunshine returns Thursday, high 58. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM KMOX.
All right, thanks, Joe. Right now it's mostly clear and 61 degrees downtown.
It's 6:12. Southeastern Missouri Congressman Jason Smith says beef prices remain high in part due to low inventories.
The cattle industry has faced droughts all over the country for several years in a row, and that led to a lot of producers selling their breeding stock. So it made the numbers be the lowest level that it's been in decades.
Smith also tells Missouri Net he supports the Trump administration's investigation into alleged collusion and price fixing by the big four meat packers, National Beef, Cargill, Tyson Foods, and JBS.
House lawmakers in Missouri are considering regulations for golf carts. A bill sponsored by Representative Jim Murphy aims to catch the state up to where cities are that have already established safety standards for golf carts. That bill would prohibit golf carts from operating on roads with speed limits posted above 25 miles an hour, would ban the motorized vehicles from sidewalks and some trails. It would also require golf cart drivers to carry insurance and a valid driver's license.
Murphy says golf carts need uniform regulations since they are becoming more common in residential areas across the state. That bill currently awaits a vote in the House.
A Missouri lawmaker disagrees with state highway officials that increasing speed limits will increase driving fatalities. Senator Jamie Berger tells Chris and Amy his bill to increase rural speed limits from 70 to 75 miles per hour will not cause more fatalities.
And, we're not talking about raising the speed limits in Metro St. Louis or Metro Kansas City. I think the MoDOT testimony, I think they said 1 to 3 fatalities across the state per year. I don't know that we're going to see that big impact in the rural areas.
Berger's bill passed the Senate Thursday. It now heads to the House.
At the Missouri Capitol, Senator Curtis Gregory proposing to merge Missouri's film and TV tax credits and extend them to 2035.
But Elias Chapelis with the Show Me Institute argues the credits aren't a good investment.
Georgia, the state that everyone looks to for where all the productions are going, they are spending an uncapped amount, and their study showed the state return on investment was a little over 10 cents on the dollar.
Senator Barbara Washington said she'd be interested in examining the Georgia report.
The industry studies show that there's a $6.30 return for every dollar invested.
According to the Missouri Department of Economic Development, the state authorized more than $15 million in film production incentives last year, helping to generate over $40 million in production spending statewide. Beth Coughlin, KMOX News.
It is 6:15 and it's time for sports.
Yes, it is, and we are here in Jupiter, Florida, as the Cardinals played split squad games yesterday. First time in the spring they did that. They sent a club down to West Palm Beach. Ollie Marmol managed that team. Cardinals lost to the Houston Astros 10-3. Richard Fitz, the starting pitcher, gave up 4 runs in 2 2/3. Here in Jupiter, the Cardinals beat up the Orioles 7-2, and I mean beat them up with some big-time home runs. The Cardinals had a whole bunch of them, a home run from J.J. Weatherholt, a home run from Joshua Baez, 2 from Chase Davis, and the Cardinals won that game 7-2, and good pitching. Matthew Liberatore went 5 innings in this one. He didn't walk anyone, and he struck out 7, 5 hits allowed, 2 runs. That doesn't bother Libby. He likes the no walks. And, what is his goal game to game on how many walks he should be issuing?
Yeah, I mean, there's no number goal. I think really ever since I was put in the pen and there's this heavy importance placed on, you need to come in and throw strikes right away. That's just been something that's kind of stuck with me. And, these hitters are good enough without anybody already on base, and to give them a free pass just makes it that much easier. So if I can avoid that as much as possible, that makes for a much easier day.
He is a strike thrower for sure. The Cardinals visit the Mets today. It's a 12-10 start. I'll have it with Stephen Carey from Port St. Lucie, and you can hear that one at Cardinals.com. At the WBC, good outing for Paul Skeens, the pitcher for the United States, and the NL Cy Young Award winner, allowed 1 hit and struck out 7 in his 4 innings as the U.S. beat Mexico. Final score was 5-3 in Houston. That's the first win for the Americans over Mexico at the World Baseball Classic since 2006. The Americans lost 11-5 to Mexico in 2023. What does this win mean? Well, they're now 3-0, and they will meet Italy tonight. Italy's 2-0 to secure a spot in the quarterfinals in Houston this weekend. A home run for Aaron Judge, a 2-run shot, and a home run for 21-year-old prospect and now major leaguer Roman Anthony. He's with the Boston Red Sox. He was drafted by Chaim Bloom, by the way. 5-3 U.S. over Mexico at the WBC. The Blues take on the Islanders tonight. It's a 6:30 start, that early start time because they're on TNT tonight, and former Blues captain Braden Shen now plays for the New York Islanders. College basketball this week. Just remember, it's going to be a busy one. Conference tournament season. Mizzou plays on Thursday at 11:30 in Nashville against the winner of Kentucky and LSU. Illinois plays on Friday. They're in the Big Ten tournament. They've already advanced to the quarterfinals. They'll play out there around 1:30. And SLU plays on Friday morning. 10:30 start for them. 10:15 pregame. They're the number 1 seed. They take on the winner of Fordham and GW. We'll have much more coming up at 6:45, including a tragic loss, a very young age. The wife of Edward Leuven will discuss that tragic story, and it's just some sadness around this team right now. Jen Cease will have the latest on St. Louis City SC. I'm Tom Ackerman on the home of the Cardinals and the Billikens, 104.1 FM KMOX.
Hi, Margaret with Eamon Gantner and Capriano. We all procrastinate. We put things off, confident we'll have time later. Well, one who procrastinates in choosing will inevitably have their choices made for them by circumstance. Could be an illness or even a death. And it happened to me. I was widowed at 41. It could happen to you. If you procrastinate and fail to plan for your future, for your children, circumstances and the courts will make your plans for you without your input. Eamon Gantner and Capriano help thousands of families plan for their future now. We can be your personal attorney too, guiding you with a will, trust, powers of attorney, Medicaid, and VA. You may delay, but time does not. Eamon Gantner and Capriano, yourestateMatters.com.
The choice of an attorney is an important decision and shouldn't be based solely on advertising.
The legendary Fast Eddie of Fast Eddie's Bon Air and Cardinals Hall of Famer Jason Isringhausen.
Hey, it's that time of year again, man. It's starting to warm up. And you know the sun's getting a little brighter. I can hear the crack of the bat.
Yeah, the true pros are doing just a little bit of stretching here and there, getting rid of those winter kinks, getting ready for those days that really count, Eddie. I'm talking about the ones you'll always remember at Fast Eddie's Bon Air.
Boy, now you got that right. It is all they can do to get ready for the lineup of the delicious eats, man. It's a half-pound Fat Eddie burger. Man, it's a hot chick on a stick, that big elwood on a stick, and you know the succulent peel and eat shrimp are sitting over there on deck.
You do know I have to stretch out a little bit before I start hitting that dance floor, listening to that live music 7 days a week on that huge outdoor patio.
Well, it's like any other training, man. You got to warm up to get that party face on. It's really difficult out there to have that much fun on that warm, toasty patio. You know, like Mr. Shannon always said, if you're 21 and in the mood, it's Fast Eddie's Bon Air.
Total Information AM on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
620, you're listening to Total Information AM. I'm Megan Lynch alongside Debbie Monterrey, and let's check in with Roger Brand. He's in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, still no complaints out there on the highways, Megan. There's a little more volume, so I'm starting to see a little slowdown in the right lanes north of Butler Hill. All lanes are bogged down at a couple of spots. Just north of Bayless up to about Holly Hills. North 270, though, from 55 all the way up through Gravois, past Manchester, Ladue. Everything looks great there. That road work going on westbound 70 past Wentzville Parkway is not bothering anybody. Seeing a couple of slow spots, a little busy on the highway 61 just south of P and just south of Wentzville Parkway. Just brief slowdowns there. Again, I had reported a crash, or MoDOT reported one, eastbound 70 at 79 on the shoulder. Not seeing any delays there. And on the Illinois side, things are still looking great. Just a little slowdown westbound 64 just west of 159 in that construction zone. Next update at 6:30 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Weather-wise, it's going to be hot today. High of 84 degrees with sunshine and clouds. It'll be breezy. The record, by the way, is 86. That was set back in 1955. The change comes late tonight because we're going to see some severe thunderstorms rolling through, especially after midnight. And those could be like flooding downpour type of thunderstorms with wind gusts and maybe an isolated tornado. It's also going to sweep the hot temperatures out, and we'll have a high tomorrow of 67 degrees with periods of rain and thunderstorms into early afternoon. But the temperature is just going to keep dropping throughout the day until it's in the upper 40s. Right now, we're much warmer than that. It's 61 degrees downtown.
More news now at 6:22, where our Maria Kina had a chance to sit down with one of the 5 African-American female St. Louis firefighters recently promoted to captain. They say it was a long road there. They were acting captains for months, but were still receiving just firefighter pay.
Captain Jessica Jackson is at the 22s on McCausland and Highway 40. You always hear children say they want to be a firefighter or a police officer. In Jackson's case, she did not want to be a firefighter, even when she applied after receiving encouragement from another firefighter. But once she found out what it was all about, that changed. Captain Jackson has been a St. Louis firefighter for just over 20 years, and she loves her job very much. She gives KMOX a look behind the curtain of what it's actually like to be in a fire station.
Building fire, first alarm. 2819 Keokuk Street. Cross Street of California Avenue and Oregon Avenue. Truck 4 Pumper 32 Pumper 1 Hook and Ladder 3. Battalion 4. Rescue Squad 1. Respond on command Bravo.
So you notice when that come out.
Command Alpha. Command Bravo.
I didn't even have to hear. I knew it was a fire because we have a special tone that kicks out. And so I heard the tone and I knew it was a fire. And it's one of those things that even though it's not my fire, our ears still perk up. We still listen because we never know what could be going on. We never know what could be going on. My chief is not responding. And so, you know, you always want to listen. We always try and pay attention. This is good. So I'm glad you're able to. It's actual fire.
I'm on truck 4.
It's brand new. It's brand new.
Truck 4 responding.
4 responded. It's brand new. What's like 2 months now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's annoying.
First it was a man. It was horrible.
They're both.
I know it was.
They're both horrible.
Now, this one's better. This one's better than the man.
You can't
say gravel.
Right.
Kid Cup. Kid Cup.
A little moment of levity there, talking about the AI voice not being able to pronounce area streets like Gravois and Keokuk.
Proper 23. They're kicking out a first alarm, so they must be getting multiple calls in dispatch, and they just automatically kicked out a first alarm. So the difference in a scale and a first alarm is how many apparatuses arrive. And so initially they only kick out like 4 apparatuses, but if it's a first alarm, they're going to kick out multiple.
Over 32 fire alarm.
Upper 32.
Upper 32 is on the scene of a 2-story single family. Vacant, heavy fire on the second floor, 1 line off.
Scene of a 2-story single family, vacant, heavy fire on the second floor, 1 line off.
1A to 4A. 4A. We'll take backup water. That's good. We don't have an aerial ladder.
We have assignments on what we have to do. So the first engine company gets there, has an assignment, the second engine company. And so we tell, like, when we get on scene, I'm first, I'm doing this. I'm second, I'm doing this. I'm third, I'm doing this. And that's how we know what to do when we get there. Yeah.
Is there anything that scares you?
Yes, like a lot.
It's not related to fires, right?
Honestly, I think every fireman is scared when we go into that burning building. You know, like there is that fear because this job is designed, like literally our job is designed to kill us. We're not supposed to be in a fire. We're not, you know, and now our gear it's better, but we're able to go deeper than we've ever been before. Like it used to be, they didn't have hoods. So when they would go into a fire and your ears start tingling and burning, then you know you're too far. Well, now we wear a hood. So now we're going deeper into those fires.
And you can't feel that.
And you can't feel that. Yes. They're making the hoods better and better. They're making our gear better and better. Our SCBAs, which is our self-contained breathing apparatus, they used to be 30-minute bottles. Now they're 45-minute bottles. So we're going deeper and deeper. And so, yeah, you have to be scared. You do. It's just, I think, a human thing. It's what do you do with that when you're scared? What do you do? You know, I had a gentleman I was teaching a class one time, and he came to me and he said, you know, Instructor Jackson, can I talk to you? And I'm like, yeah. He was like, I don't think this is for me. I don't know if I can go in that burning building. My fear is just there. I can't do it. I shook his hand and I said, thank you for being honest. And I said, well, I wanted him to talk to one of the guys because, you know, when it comes to the females, I like us to have a little more vulnerability with each other. And then same with the guys.
Yeah.
And so, and I let him talk to another guy and was still under, he was worried that something would happen to say one of us and he couldn't go back in and get us. And so he quit. He dropped out.
He did.
But I respect him 100% because at the end of the day, I need someone that's going to be bigger than their fear and is going to come in and do the job with me. You know, if I go down, it's going to come in and get me.
Yeah.
Maria Aquina, KMOX News.
It is 6:27. The time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating, Air Conditioning, Electrical, and Plumbing.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
Tom Ackerman and Jupiter, McKelvey Homes, they are ready for you. Go to McKelveyHomes.com and they will set you up. Are you ready for a fresh start? You want to take a little look around, see what's available? McKelveyHomes.com has just that. I like talking about all these different places in St. Louis, some that I haven't seen. So when I travel around and I see what Jim Brennan has done here, like Cottleville Trails in Cottleville. You ever been to Cottleville? Downtown Cottleville is fantastic. You can take a golf cart or walk to downtown Cottleville from Cottleville Trails and have lunch, have dinner. Menino's Market, it's his new favorite sandwich shop, says Jim. And let me tell you, Jim knows food, so that means something when he says that. And it's a neighborhood where you know your neighbors. Cottleville Trails, McKelveyHomes.com to see all about it. You could also browse and you could see the reserve at Wildwood. The reserve at Wildwood's getting a lot of attention. I can understand why. They're park-like setting, front porches on every home, walking trails, You can walk to Main Street and Wildwood Town Center from your home, top-rated Rockwood schools. They also have the 1898 sale, $18,980 off your home. They also have just incredible financing as well. It's all right there at McKelveyHomes.com. McKelveyHomes.com. Move up to McKelvey.
Okay, I have to tell you, I was just looking on eBay where I go for all kinds of things I love, and there it was.
That hologram trading card. One of the rarest. The last one I needed for my set. Shiny like the
designer handbag of my dreams. One of a kind. eBay had it, and now everyone's asking, ooh, where'd you get your
windshield wipers? eBay has all the parts that fit my car. No more annoying. Just beautiful.
Millions of finds, each with a story. eBay. Things people love.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance tech at a university, he knows ordering from multiple suppliers takes time away from keeping their arena up and running. That's why he counts on Grainger to get everything he needs, from lighting and HVAC parts to plumbing supplies, all in one place. And with fast, dependable delivery, he's stocked and ready for the next tip-off. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Guys, Kevin Wheeler here for Burn Balance Complex, which is the latest tool you can find at supplement superstores. It is top of the line. This is a complete metabolism system, not just a fat burner. So you get the metabolism boost, all-day focused energy with no jitters or crash. You get help with appetite control and cravings, and it'll reduce stress by lowering cortisol levels. It is a fantastic tool, especially for those who don't want prescriptions or injections. So get out to supplement superstores, tell them Kevin Wheeler sent you, and they'll knock 30% off the Burn Balance Complex, and you can find your location at supplementsuperstores.com.
Glover here for my friends at Cantor Injury Law. Cantor is local, and we're here doing the work every day. We're right here in St. Louis, and we're ready to fight for you. CantorInjuryLaw.com or call 314-628-9999.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be solely based on advertisements.
6:31, you're listening to Total Information AM. Looks like we've got clear skies, 63 degrees downtown at the Arch. I'm Megan Lynch.
I'm Debbie Monterrey, and this is Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, they were blocking the right lane just a moment ago, Debbie, but they just pulled away. We had a trash truck that was reportedly smoking and maybe just overheated. It was on the right shoulder, still is, but they had the right lane blocked eastbound 70 just past 5th Street. So traffic's a little slow back at 94, but it'll probably thin out pretty quickly now that they just open up that right lane. They have volume on southbound 61. In fact, it backs up briefly through Highway P, but just generally slow most of the way down to 64. But once you get to 64, if you go that way, you're in good shape. Like I said, 70 has that little backup 94 to 5th Street right now. Northbound 270, both sides of Gravois and right around Big Bend Doherty Ferry area, just kind of slow there. Northbound 55, those right lanes are busy from Butler Hill headed up to 270, and then again from Bayless up to River to Pear. And downtown, we have a crash. It looks like westbound 64 at the Missouri end of the Poplar Street Bridge. There's a jam back to the Illinois side, and 64 is also slow, both sides of 159 in the construction zone. Next update at 6:40 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
We'll start out with sunshine, some clouds later. Breezy, warm this afternoon, a high of 84 tonight. We could see a couple of severe thunderstorms, especially after midnight, with a low of 60. Currently, we have clear skies, 63 degrees in downtown St. Louis.
It is 6:32. St. Louis County Executive Sam Page won't be facing a jury trial. Page appeared in a Greene County courtroom yesterday. The judge allowed prosecutors to charge him by information rather than indictment, which is often done for speed and efficiency when a defendant waives their right to a grand jury.
Page facing 2 felony and 2 misdemeanor counts that were filed by former Attorney General Andrew Bailey. Bailey accused Page of using county taxpayer funds for a spring 24 mailing about Proposition B. Page claims the mailers were informational and that he got legal advice before sending them.
The former Speaker of the Missouri House sentenced yesterday.
John Deal of Town and Country is being sentenced to 21 months in prison and a $50,000 fine after pleading guilty to 1 count of wire fraud. Deal admitted to fraudulently accepting $400,000 of pandemic relief aid and spending it on personal expenses, such as credit card bills, country club memberships, vehicles, and more. Deal paid restitution to the federal government before his plea, but prosecutor Hal Goldsmith says they believe due to Deal's wealth, that isn't much of a punishment.
The judge pointed out if you're allowed to simply pay back what you stole and not receive any other punishment, that's no punishment at all.
The defense asked for a sentence that did not include incarceration, which the judge did not grant. Deal's attorney, John Rogers, was pleased the sentence was on the low end of the guideline.
I'm convinced this is an isolated incident, and Mr. Deal will never be put in a set of circumstances that would warrant bad decision-making.
Sean Malone, KMOX News.
A hitman in a Collinsville murder-for-hire plot has been found guilty. 46-year-old Gary Johnson accused of first-degree murder in connection with the killing of 32-year-old Portia Rowland. Rowland killed in her driveway in January of last year. He's one of 3 people charged for Rowland's murder. 2 other men have not yet faced trial.
Johnson told investigators he was offered $10,000 to kill Rowland. Investigators reveal that Rowland was in a relationship with the wife of 37-year-old Sammy Schaefer. Schaefer has been charged with acting as the main conspirator in that murder.
Your money report coming up. This news sponsored by Michael's Flooring Outlet, the flooring experts, michaelsflooringoutlet.com. It's 6:34.
Hear me out on this. Let's say, for the sake of argument, you do have a wife or a significant other.
Yeah.
There's just a huge problem in your life, and then you win a giant jackpot. Don't you feel like this is your opportunity to just leave town?
You're not going to file papers now, because now you're going to be legally bound to this lady.
That's what you get the lawyer for.
You're not even married and you're fantasizing about leaving your wife.
The Chris and Amy Show, weekdays starting at 9 on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
Hey guys, Glover here with my friend Stewie from Stewart's American Mortgage Corporation. Stewie, let's talk about refinancings, and let's just bottom line this. Everyone needs money at some point in their life.
You know what, Dave? There's so many different ways you can make money. Number one, go to a lower rate. If you're financed over the last 3 years, chances are you're paying a higher rate than what you can today. Refinance with the bagel loan, no closing costs at all. That's number one. Number two, a lot of people are concerned not about the cash flow, but overall interest that you're paying. Go from a 30-year to a 20-year. The rates are lower on a 20-year versus a 30-year. Save hundreds of thousands of dollars. And third is the really easy way. You need cash. I need cash. Take cash out. Refinance now. Take the money you need. Keep the payment the same. It's easy. It's simple. All with no closing costs with that bagel loan.
If you're looking to save money, get a little cash to your pocket, and do it with the right person, give Stewie a call or a text on his personal cell phone, 314-324-4440, or Google the Bagel Loan, NMLS 226715.
It is now 6:36. And it's time for your money report. It's sponsored for you by Eamon, Gantner, and Capriano Elder Law Attorneys.
This is a Bloomberg Money Minute. Traders are monitoring the war in the Middle East and its impact on oil flows following President Trump's bid to calm markets. Oil is lower today while stocks are heading for a higher open as the president promised a quick end to the conflict and says the Navy will escort tankers through the Strait of Hormuz. S&P futures are up 25 points. Dow futures rising 190. Oil at $86 a barrel. In other news, Hewlett-Packard Enterprise is benefiting from solid demand for hardware that helps customers run artificial intelligence workloads. The company boosted its annual earnings forecast for the year. Shares are higher in early trading. And many young adults who feel behind financially are looking to high-risk, speculative areas such as sports betting to reach their financial goals faster. According to a Northwestern Mutual study, nearly a third of Gen Z say they're putting money into or thinking about putting money into sports betting and prediction markets. Courtney Donahoe, Bloomberg Radio.
I'm Tom Ackerman with this month's Siteman Cancer Center Spotlight. We are talking about colorectal cancer. And joining us is Dr. Jean Wang, a WashU Medicine gastroenterologist at Siteman Cancer Center. Dr. Wang, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me.
We want to talk about the importance of screening. At what age, Dr. Wang, should people consider getting a screening for colorectal cancer?
So the current national guidelines recommend that people start screening at 45 years old. And this is a new change that just happened in the last few years, because it used to be 50 years that we would start. But the reason why the new guidelines now recommend starting at age 45 is that we're seeing younger and younger patients get diagnosed with colorectal cancer. So we want to start screening people earlier, and that way we can prevent them from getting this terrible disease.
For more information, visit siteman.wustl.edu.
Attention all dog owners. If you have ever listened to the radio or TV for any length of time, you've probably heard of America's #1 dog supplement, Rough Greens. Greetings, naturopathic Dr. Dennis Black, Amazon best-selling author and founder of Rough Greens here. And if your dog suffers from bad breath, itchy skin, licking paws, joint pain, or low energy, The truth is, their food is probably to blame. You see, all commercial dog food is dead food. That's why I created Rough Greens. One daily scoop gives your pup the live vitamins, omega oils, probiotics, and enzymes that will bring their food back to life. Don't believe me? Let your dog try it before you buy it. I'll send you a free Jumpstart trial bag, risk-free. You just cover the shipping. Go to roughgreens.com. That's RUFFgreens.com. Use discount code NEWS. Don't wait. Give your dog the gift of vibrant health. Order now. It'll be at your house in a few days. Go to roughgreens.com. That's RUFFgreens.com. Discount code NEWS for your free Jumpstart trial bag today. Rough Green. We make any dog food better.
I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. If you've been injured in a car accident, call America's largest injury law firm. For over 35 years, my mission has been to deliver more for our clients, to deliver more for you. If you or anyone in your family has been injured in a car accident, call us now, as the time to file a claim may be limited. Last year, more clients hired Morgan & Morgan than ever before, protecting America, fighting for you. Morgan & Morgan. Injured? Dial pound law.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements. Past results afford no guarantee of future results. Every case is different and must be judged on its own merits.
Nothing makes a gathering great like Eggland's best eggs. They're just so delicious with better nutrition, too. For us, it's eggs any style, as long as they're the best. Eggland's best. Better taste, better nutrition, better eggs.
This is the Gas House Gang from KMOX.
Bernie Nicholas and the Gas House Gang, today at noon on America's Sports Voice, KMOX.
6:40. Let's see how things are moving on the roads for you on this Tuesday morning. Roger Brand is in the overhead door company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, they're not doing great for Illinois drivers right now, Megan. I mentioned the last reported incident westbound 64 just west of the Poplar. I think it's a crash. It's hard to tell. It looks like there were a couple of vehicles. I can tell you they're in the left lane. The road assistance trucks just showed up with their message boards, so they do have the left lane blocked. Again, it's westbound 64 between the bridge and the stadium, the ballpark there. So westbound 64 is jammed back to about 70, and 64 is heavy both sides of 159 due to road work there. Westbound 15 east of 255, we have a crash. It's jammed back to 157, so some issues for Illinois drivers right now. If you're on southbound 61, about midway between W and Highway P down onto 64 at the Boulevard's pretty busy. Eastbound 70, K into 79 and 94 to 5th Street, you got a couple of slowdowns. Northbound 270, north of 55 through Gravois, and primarily Big Bend up through Manchester, the busiest parts on that run. Northbound 55, a little busy at Butler Hill. Union Road overpass up through Virginia. There's some slower traffic on that run as well. And it looks like westbound 5570, I'm also seeing a little delay, a slowdown from Keebler to 157. Next update is 6:50 from the overhead door company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
It is 6:41. Time for us to check in with our AccuWeather meteorologist, Joe Lundberg. Some big changes on the way, Joe.
Well, a lot of big changes. Today's going to be fine. We're going to see sunshine mixing with clouds, breezy, very warm. We'll get to 84. But a front's going to come through the area late tonight and tomorrow morning. As it does, it gets more and more unstable. Looks like the most likely time for severe weather toward and beyond midnight. And when I say severe weather, everything's on the table. Large hail, damaging winds, and a threat for tornadoes. That's all a possibility. And, of course, downpours for those 60. We'll start off tomorrow with rain and a thunderstorm. By lunchtime, most of that's done, but it will be windy and much cooler. Upper 60s in the morning, probably upper 40s by sunset tomorrow. That's how big of a change we're forecasting behind this front. We rebound to 58 with sunshine and some clouds Thursday. Low 60s Friday, partly sunny and breezy. Sunshine, some clouds, breezy and warmer Saturday, back up to 71. Right now it's 63 at St. Peter's, 64 in Florissant, clear skies ahead of sunrise, and 65 downtown at the Arch. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM KMOX.
More news now at 6:42.
We've made really tens of millions of dollars of investment in infrastructure in order to make sure that CSL has what it needs.
Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker referring to Commonwealth Serum Laboratories, or CSL, and their $1.5 billion commitment to construct a new manufacturing facility at the company's Kankakee campus.
The opportunity for companies to come to Illinois, they compare us against other states, and we are hyper-competitive these days.
CSL is a global therapeutics leader. Gordon Naylor, Interim Chief Executive Officer and Managing Director of CSL, says, as the need for plasma-derived therapies continues to grow in the United States and globally, expanding the Kankakee site further strengthens its key hub in the supply network. Now, as part of the comprehensive incentive package, CSL is creating at least 300 new jobs and retaining more than 1,200. Maria Kina, KMOX News.
Illinois Treasurer Michael Frericks says a government-supported program to provide financial help for people with disabilities in Illinois is expanding.
ABLE accounts are now available to anyone who acquired their disability before age 46. And I think this is a game changer for a lot of people. It nearly doubles the age, opening up the ABLE program to an estimated 6 million disabled Americans, including about 250,000 who live here in the state of Illinois.
Researchers say they found a potential way to improve a struggling healthcare system in Illinois prisons.
That potential solution, peer support programs in Illinois prisons. A new report from the John Howard Association finds mental health, substance abuse, and other forms of peer support plans are having a positive impact on those behind bars at a time of severe understaffing throughout the Illinois Department of Corrections. While peer support programs would not replace medical staff, advocates say training incarcerated people in basic tasks such as taking blood pressure or administering vaccines could help ease the strain and improve care. Andy Day, News Radio 105.9 WBBM.
Illinois' Attorney General says a proposed settlement that would end a federal lawsuit over the cost of tickets for concerts is striking a sour note with him and others, and he's rejecting it. We get more from Jeff Buckles.
The original suit from Illinois and 39 other states, along with then Attorney General Merrick Garland, claimed Live Nation and Ticketmaster leveraged long-term contracts and various other threats to illegally take over the live event market in the U.S. and drove ticket prices higher. The Justice Department's proposed settlement calls for Live Nation, which is the parent company of Ticketmaster, to open up its ticketing network to other companies, sell at least 13 performance venues across the country, and pay the states $280 million.
We don't agree with the settlement as it's been reached by this Department of Justice.
Illinois Attorney General Kwame Raoul accuses the Trump administration of rushing to settle similar antitrust lawsuits as a way to benefit big business.
The court has been informed, and we continue to litigate.
More than 24 states have reportedly said they want no part of the settlement.
I'm Tom Ackerman in Jupiter, Florida. The Cardinals beat the Orioles here 7-2 yesterday. 4 home runs in the game. J.J. Weatherhold hit one. Joshua Baez crushed one down the left field line. He was optioned to Memphis after the game. Not a huge surprise. Chaim Bloom pretty much told us that on Sports on a Sunday Morning, saying that he needed to experience the journey. That was sort of what they were referring to, that he needed to make his way progression through the minor leagues. But he's had a spectacular start to his season. There's no doubt about that. And Chase Davis hit 2 home runs. Now, they've been wanting to see that power out of Davis, and he gave it to him yesterday. 2 blasts for the Cardinals outfielder as the Cards got 5 strong innings for Matthew Liberatore and won the game 7-2. Liberatore walked no one and struck out 7 in the contest. Meanwhile, down in West Palm Beach, the Cardinals lost to the Astros 10-3. Richard Fitz gave up 4 runs in 2 2/3. Jordan Walker had a hit, but he also struck out 3 times as the Cardinals continue to follow the progression of their right fielder. The starting left fielder here was, again, Baez, but he goes to AAA Memphis. Also optioned yesterday was Cardinals left-hander Quinn Matthews. At the World Baseball Classic, the United States beat Mexico 5-3. That's significant for a number of reasons. If they beat Italy tonight, they will advance to the quarterfinals of the World Baseball Classic. It's also the first win for the U.S. over Mexico since 2006. Found that hard to believe. 3 years ago, they got thumped by Mexico 11-5. The Blues play the Islanders tonight. That is a 6:30 face-off on TNT. That game is at Enterprise Center in downtown St. Louis. St. Louis City SC is mourning the loss of Ilona Leuven. This was a sad story that we had been following for the last couple of years as she battled brain cancer, but Ilona Leuven has passed away at the age of 28. Here's a statement from City. We grieve alongside Edu and all of those impacted by this loss and ask the City community to keep them in your prayers during this difficult time. Ilona was a beautiful example of love, humility, and kindness and will be deeply missed. And this is a message from the Leuven's pastor, Edward Leuven, the midfielder for City, and his wife, Ilona. This is Mark Sikma, their pastor. Edu and Ilona built their life on faith in Christ.
And we find comfort in knowing Ilona's suffering is over and that she is now in the eternal presence of her Savior. We'll get a report at 7:15 from Jen Cease on the latest to what the team is doing as they get ready for the next contest, St. Louis City SC. I'm Tom Ackerman on the home of the Cardinals and Billikens, live from Jupiter, 104.1 FM KMOX.
Why do the national tax resolution firms need the tiny fine print at the bottom of all their TV ads? Hi, this is Lance Drury with the Lance Drury Law Firm. You don't hear fast-talking disclaimers in our ads because the claims we make are 100% transparent. The Lance Drury Law Firm primarily focuses on one thing, IRS problems, and we're regulated by the Bar Association, and we have a AAA rating with the Better Business Bureau. IRS issues are serious legal issues. The Lance Drury Law Firm has helped thousands of clients navigate the best resolution plans, and we tell you up front exactly how much it'll cost. Tax resolution law is all we do. So before you send money to some out-of-town, high-pressure salesperson, give us a call at the Lance Drury Law Firm, located right here in St. Louis. Call today to schedule your free consultation with me, 314-260-6120, or visit LanceDruryLaw.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
For 100 years, KMOX has been a part of St. Louis. Now, those moments live on, preserved, remastered, and ready to be heard again. Discover KMOX from the Archives, a podcast featuring classic audio from a century of service.
Sponsored by Overhead Door Company of St. Louis, the genuine, the original.
The KMOX from the Archives podcast, available now at KMOX100.com or wherever you get your podcasts.
St. Louis's unofficial holiday is almost here. It's Cardinals opening day, Thursday, March 26th. And KMOX's Cakes and Eggs, presented by Budweiser, is back. This year with a new twist. You don't need a ticket to enjoy KMOX's live broadcast at Cardinals Nation inside Ballpark Village, featuring Cardinals alumni, front office personnel, special guests, and so much more. First come, first serve. Doors open at 9 a.m. Celebrate this hometown holiday with Dirt Cheap and Budweiser. For more details, KMOX.com/events.
Total Information AM, Debbie Monterrey, Megan Lynch, Tom Ackerman on 104.1 FM KMOX.
Oh, we've had some problems this morning. Let's get the latest now from Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Yeah, it's looking a little better downtown, Megan, but we still have a jam. They did clear that crash westbound 64 near the ballpark. Lanes are open now, but we have a solid jam back through to Highway 70. So your USPS Ground Advantage reliable route is just to stick with 70. Take the Musial Veterans Bridge. You'll save yourself a ton of minutes in traffic. Is that traffic on 64 is at a standstill, or if you're a little further north, you can opt for the McKinley Bridge. That's looking great as well. Other delays, 64 has slow traffic westbound. Both sides of 159, 5570 between the Keebler overpass and 157 is heavy. Still see that jam westbound 15 from approaching 157, most of the way over to 255 because of a crash. Southbound 61, Highway P onto 64, the boulevard's busy. Eastbound 70, Bryan Road into TR Hughes, pockets of stop-and-go traffic. It's slow again, 94 to the Blanchette Bridge, north 270, north of 55 to 44, and Big Bend up through Manchester, the busiest parts there. 55, Bayless, up through Holly Hills. There's just a lot of slow traffic. Next update at 6:58 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Weather-wise, it's going to be hot today. 84 degrees. That's not a record, though. The record's 86, set back in 1955. So sunny, breezy, 84 degrees, and then some severe thunderstorms rolling through tonight, especially after midnight. And it'll be cooling things off for tomorrow. We'll have cloudy skies tomorrow, periods of rain and a thunderstorm into early afternoon. A high of 67 tomorrow, but temperatures then plummeting into the upper 40s. We are much warmer than that now. It's clear and 61 degrees.
More news now at 6:52. You may have heard of Claude, the AI platform created by the company Anthropic. That company and AI system have been embroiled in a battle with the Pentagon over ethical use of that platform. Later this morning, we go in depth on questions of where AI is headed and the ethics of its existence.
It's a very, very strange world. We've really turned a corner in how we interact with AI. It is no longer just a tool.
Nell Watson is a fellow with Singularity University who focuses on embedding safety, ethics, and human-centered values into AI systems.
It is very rapidly becoming quite an independent agent, increasingly. We're giving these systems memory, They are developing their own personalities, their own preferences are starting to come to the surface.
Stay with us for more this morning at 8:11 here on Total Information AM.
The flirtation with warmer weather has some golfers in the mood for their first round of the season.
John Schleman is the PGA Director of Golf at Eagle Ridge in Colina. His opening day is scheduled for March 27th. Business and golf go hand in hand. He tells the Noon Business Hour it's a good way to build a rapport with a client or even close a deal.
You can usually tell by the demeanor of the people that they're out there to talk and get to know each other. And the golf course is a great place to do that if you have a client, because you kind of got their captive attention for several hours.
He adds golf can be used for stress relief.
You got to find ways to, clear your mind and relieve that pressure.
Rob Hart, News Radio 105.9 WBBM.
The leading cause of death isn't heart disease, it's childhood trauma, says an engineer who's crunched the data. Michael Menard, one of 14 children growing up in Kankakee, Illinois, says he was curious because 2 of his brothers became heroin addicts, which he initially attributed to just bad decision-making.
I didn't escape the disorder. I suffered hunger as a child because of poverty and neglect. And for 5 decades, I turned to food for comfort. I suffered obesity.
Menard says childhood trauma changes the brain, and without intervention, people cope in any number of unhealthy ways. That leads to 500,000 deaths a year.
I heard it's somebody's birthday.
Birthday excitement. It's your birthday.
Today's KMOX birthday shout out sponsored by Renner Garage Door, RENNER, forward and back, family owned and top rated, RennerDoorSTL.com. Celebrity birthdays for this Tuesday, March 10th. You'll probably recognize this voice.
There's the rare occasion when the public can be engaged on a level beyond flash if they have a sentimental bond with the product.
Happy birthday to actor John Hamm, 55. Of course, that's him playing ad exec Don Draper in Mad Men. Chuck Norris, 86 years old today. Actor Sharon Stone is 68. Olympic gymnastics gold medalist Shannon Miller is 49. Country singer-songwriter Carrie Underwood, 43. And rapper-singer Bad Bunny, 32.
Remember that you can have a birthday or anniversary announced in this segment if you email it to totalam@kmox.com. Happy birthday wishes going out to Don Miller of Swansea, who turns 88 today. Noreen Reed, happy birthday from the Life Group. And happy birthday wishes going out to John Carney, former Mayor Tashara Jones, and Sue Murphy.
This is the best birthday ever.
It's Tom Ackerman. My family has been a client of the Laterman Law Firm for more than 2 decades. I hear this all the time from people around St. Louis. Yeah, I have an estate plan, I think. Or, yeah, we did that years ago. We've been meaning to look at it again. Honestly, folks, that's the problem. Estate plans are not one and done. And what I've learned is most plans don't fail because people don't care. They fail because life changes and the plan doesn't keep up. And at Laterman Law Firm, the plans aren't just paperwork. It is an ongoing process. They build your estate plan to protect your family and your property. And then for a fixed annual fee, they actually help maintain it. So it stays aligned with changes in your life, your assets, and the law. And that is a big reason we have stayed with them all these years. If you're in the St. Louis area, including Illinois, you want an estate plan that works, call the Laterman Law Firm at latermanlaw.com. You can find them online or call them 314-514-9100. 314-514-9100. The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertisements.
Hi, this is Steve Butts from the Crawford Butts Insurance Agency. In 2026, our agency celebrates a momentous occasion as we celebrate 65 years of service to our clients, a tribute to our founder and my dad, Nor Butts. Our staff is ready to assist you with all your insurance needs. So please call me, Steve Butts, at 314-752-2500 or at crawfordbutts.com. For auto, home, and commercial insurance needs, that's crawfordbutts.com.
Conservative outsider Jeannie Evans for U.S. Senate. Evans is a proven fighter and the only candidate for U.S. Senate with guts and know-how to get the job done. As an attorney, she took on China and corporate criminals. Jeannie Evans won billions for working families. As senator, Evans will fight and win for you. She'll work to cut taxes and lower the cost of living. Evans believes that keeping Illinois safe will take more than just wishful thinking. It takes courage, and Jeannie Evans has the record to prove it. Evans will always be tough on crime. She'll hold China accountable for trafficking fentanyl and stealing our personal data. Jeannie Evans puts America first. A proven fighter. Conservative outsider Jeannie Evans for U.S. Senate.
I'm Jeannie Evans, Republican candidate for U.S. Senate, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Jeannie for Illinois.
Let's check in with Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, we still got the jam downtown, Debbie, on westbound 64. In fact, it's Ball Avenue all the way to the Poplar Street Bridge, opening up at the Illinois end now. The crash was at the Missouri end, so it's getting a little bit better, but still quite a bit of a backup. And, of course, 64 has delays through 159. In addition to that, westbound 5570 is thinned out approaching 157, so that's some good news. If you're on eastbound Highway 70, you've got heavy traffic approaching Lake St. Louis Boulevard, sort of in pockets through T.R. Hughes. 94 to 5th Street, still a little heavy. Southbound 61, it looks more solid now from Highway P down to 64, and it's still slow most of the way to Lake St. Louis Boulevard. Northbound 270, approaching Tesson Ferry, approaching Gravois, Doherty Ferry up to Manchester, and then around Clayton Road's a little heavy, and 55, the usual delays, Bayless up to River to Pear. Next update at 7:10 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
The trusted voice of St. Louis. KMOX AM St. Louis. KMOX FM Hazelwood. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
This is CBS News on the Hour, your home for original reporting.
I'm Deborah Rodriguez. The war with Iran is in its 11th day, and the Trump administration's issued conflicting statements on how long it may go.
It's going to be ended soon, and if it starts up again, they'll be hit even harder.
The president spoke with CBS's Weijia Jiang.
In that phone interview, President Trump told me, quote, "I think the war is very complete pretty much," because he said U.S. strikes have severely crippled Iran's military capabilities. He also said the U.S. is very far ahead of the 4 to 5 week estimate he initially gave for how long the war would last. Later, Trump said it would go on for now.
The war with Iran is in its 11th day, and the Trump administration make that the war continues to take a toll on gas prices. They're up almost 20%. That translates to a national average of about $3.54 a gallon. In California, it's $5.29, and there's a ripple effect for this truck driver in Oakland.
It went from $5.49 over $1. It takes the money from my family because I'm paying more for the fuel.
A judge has again ruled New Jersey's top federal prosecutors were appointed unlawfully.
Last summer, U.S. District Judge Matthew Brand ruled President Trump's former personal lawyer, Alina Habba, was illegally appointed to acting U.S. attorney in New Jersey. The Trump administration replaced Habba with 3 people to split the job's duties. Now, Brand has ruled they were also unconstitutionally appointed. He warned if no one is legally given the job, dangerous criminals could have their cases dismissed or convictions overturned. Michael Wallace, CBS News.
Now to Reno, where the police chief and 5 others have been placed on administrative leave for possible misconduct. Mayor Hillary Sheevy.
We have hundreds of men and women that show up every single day to the Reno Police Department and work for us. So I want to acknowledge them, that this moment does not define them.
She does not specify what the 6 are accused of, but she does say it involves administrative and compliance matters. New data show prescriptions for ADHD meds have more than doubled since the start of the pandemic. CBS's Michael George takes a look at why.
A study in Canada found the biggest increase in ADHD medications is among people aged 18 to 24. The study's authors say the post-pandemic increase in prescriptions could be due to greater awareness of adult ADHD and improved access to care.
Futures markets are down now. Dow futures off 75, S&P futures down 11, and NASDAQ futures are off 22. This is CBS News.
The stars shine brighter on CBS Mornings.
This is a slam dunk.
So cute. Gail came in singing for me today. On CBS Mornings.
Staples presents That Was Easy.
So I opened a restaurant and needed everything. Menus, signage, catering brochures.
Everything and then some.
I went to Staples. They printed it all and even suggested takeout menus.
One money pit with a side of fries.
But now at Staples, you get up to $125 off custom print orders.
$125 off. Now you're cooking. Brand your business in a big way at Staples.
That was easy.
Shop Staples in store, online, or in the app by 442 Unlock. Exclusions apply. Visit staples.com/print for details.
Jen, I didn't know you shopped here.
Hey, I'm hunting for something fresh for spring.
Oh, girl, skip them all. Jewelry Television has the best spring looks right now.
JTV, way ahead of you. Just hit up JTV.com yesterday. Scored the cutest clover earrings, 2 tennis bracelets, and this gorgeous pearl ring.
Right now, new customers get $20 off any purchase of $99 or more at JTV.com.
Oh, and gold hoops and this turquoise bracelet.
Just a couple things, huh?
Maybe more than a couple.
At 7:04, we have clear skies, 62 degrees downtown at the Arch. Today is Tuesday, March 10th. I'm Megan Lynch.
And I'm Debbie Monterrey. A hitman in a Collinsville murder for hire plot has been found guilty. 46-year-old Gary Johnson found guilty of first-degree murder in connection with the killing of 32-year-old Portia Rowland, who was killed in her driveway in January of 2025. Johnson faced his first day of trial yesterday. He's one of 3 charged for Rowland's murder. 2 other men have not yet faced trial.
Johnson told investigators he was offered $10,000 to kill Rowland. Investigations reveal Rowland was in a relationship with the wife of 37-year-old Sammy Schaefer, who's been charged for acting as the main conspirator in her murder.
After pleading guilty to pandemic fraud, former Missouri House Speaker John Deal learns his sentence.
Deal will spend 21 months behind bars, followed by a year of probation, and must pay a $50,000 fine after admitting to fraudulently spending pandemic relief aid on personal luxuries. Deal's attorney was asking for a sentence without incarceration. Prosecutor Hal Goldsmith did not believe any sentence without Deal spending time in prison would be fair.
Would be sufficient to deter others from committing these types of crimes, and it wouldn't be a fair and just punishment.
Deal's attorney, John Rogers, was thankful the sentence was not any longer than necessary.
Mr. Deal today was sentenced at the low end of the guidelines. We appreciate the sentencing court.
Deal paid restitution to the federal government before admitting his guilt, but Goldsmith said returning what you stole should not be a major factor with sentencing, especially when considering Deal's wealth. Sean Malone, KMOX News.
St. Louis County Executive Sam Page won't be facing a jury trial after all. He appeared in Greene County courtroom yesterday. The judge allowed prosecutors to charge him by information rather than indictment, which is done for speed and efficiency when a defendant waives the right to a grand jury.
Page is facing 2 felony and 2 misdemeanor counts that were filed by former Attorney General Andrew Bailey, who accused Page of using county taxpayer funds for spring 2024 mailing about Proposition B. Page says the mailers were informational and that he got legal advice before sending them.
Seeking greater improvements to their streets and walkways, Midtown businesses and local leaders are arguing for a unique tax district. Their TIF would direct half of all tax revenue generated by future property tax increases into a fund meant to improve the walkability, beauty, and safety in their district.
Executive Director of the Kranzberg Arts Foundation, Chris Hansen, tells KMOX locals will be in charge of this fund.
We have 4 zones, and we have advisory committees in each zone that get to elect board members. So the governance process isn't just the bigs in the room. It's, everybody that lives down here.
Hansen says they are exploring ways to get $5 million in funding up front to make improvements sooner than later. The first meeting about the TIF will be tomorrow.
Residents in one Metro East community have found E. coli in their drinking water. The findings come after Cahokia Heights residents organized a community-wide testing of water from their kitchen taps. The Belleville News-Democrat reports the results of the testing contradict test results from Illinois American Water and the city of Cahokia Heights. Their water testing has not reported E. coli in the water for the past 15 years. The contradicting tests raise new questions about public health in a city that deals with constant sewage spills and flooding.
From the KMOX business desk, a Build-A-Bear strike is scheduled for Saturday in front of the company's headquarters at Union Station. United Food and Commercial Workers Local 655 has filed an unfair labor practice charge against the company after 4 employees were fired. Workers at that Union Station store voted unanimously in January to unionize. A Build-A-Bear spokesperson told the Business Journal those workers were fired for violating company policy regarding customer reward points and bonus club reward certificates. The unfair labor practice charge is pending, and the National Labor Relations at the National Labor Relations Board, and the strike will run Saturday from 10:30 to 7.
Traffic and weather next. It's 7:08.
You can feel the Clydesdales circling the field. Hear the stands come alive. Smell the hot dogs, the popcorn, and cold beer in the air. See the crowd rise as the first pitch hits the glove. And just like that, a new season begins. The countdown is on until opening day, and tickets start at just $49. Don't miss St. Louis's favorite holiday. Get your tickets at cardinals.com/opening day.
This season, step up to the ultimate game day experience with Cardinals all-inclusive tickets. Enjoy a full buffet, complimentary bar, and unbeatable views inside Busch Stadium. It's great food with great company for every pitch, hit, and home run. Choose your experience in the Budweiser 703 Club, UMB Champions Club, Professional Red Jacket Club, and more. See the game like a VIP with all-inclusive tickets. On sale now at cardinals.com/tickets.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Ask yourself this question. Is it really worth holding on to that timeshare that you know you need to get rid of? Here's the truth. The average maintenance fee just went up over 17%. That could have been 117%, and there's nothing you can do about it. When you buy a timeshare, you give them a blank check for annual maintenance and assessment fees. I'm Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group. For 15 years, I've helped over 50,000 families cancel their timeshare. Not sell it, not transfer it, cancel it. Did you buy a timeshare because they told you it was a great investment and your maintenance fees would never go up? That's a lie. Are you ready to get rid of your timeshare once and for all? Simply call us and I'll send you our timeshare exit kit that explains all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your timeshare exit kit. 800-885-3100. 800-885-3100. 800-885-3100.
This hour of Total Information AM is sponsored by Gamma Tree Experts.
It is 7:10. Let's get you caught up on traffic and weather. Roger Brand is joining us from the overhead door company of St. Louis Traffic Center with the latest on what's been a busy morning so far.
Yeah, and it's doing a little better downtown, Debbie, but it's still pretty crowded. Westbound 64 has a brief backup approaching 159, and then it's slow from about 25th Street over through 3rd Street and jammed west of there to the Poplar, and because of that, northbound Route 3 is backed up from Monsanto to the bridge. It's due to that incident we had westbound west of the bridge that they cleared before the top of the hour. If you're on eastbound Highway 70, the right lane Z to 64 a little slow. Lake St. Louis through Bryan Road is heavy. East of K to TR Hughes is kind of crowded. And it's still 94 to 5th Street where we had that earlier stalled trash truck. Southbound 61 backs up south of Highway P down onto 64, delays to about Lake St. Louis Boulevard. South 270 a little slow at Ladue. North 270 Tesson Ferry to Gravois, and north of Big Bend up to Ladue. There's a couple of slow stretches. Northbound 55, the right lanes busy approaching Butler Hill, and then Bayless up to River to Pear, the typical slowdown there. Next update at 7:20 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
KMOX AccuWeather, sunshine mixing with clouds today. A warm breeze this afternoon, high 84. The record is 86, set at 1955. Mostly cloudy, breezy, and mild tonight with a couple of severe thunderstorms around, particularly after midnight. Any thunderstorm can produce flooding, downpours, hail, and damaging winds, and perhaps a tornado. The low 60. Windy and turning much cooler tomorrow with rain and a thunderstorm through early afternoon. The morning high 67. Temperature will end the day in the upper 40s. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM KMOX.
We have 63 degrees both in Florissant and St. Peter's, 62 degrees now downtown at the Arch.
The news continues at 7:12. A man who initially faced a murder charge for opening fire during the Kansas City Chiefs 2024 Super Bowl parade will spend 2 years in prison. Dominic Miller pleaded guilty to a weapons charge as part of a plea deal. Prosecutors say under the state's self-defense laws, they couldn't prove Miller started the gunfire. Lisa Lopez Galvin, the host of a local radio show, was killed while watching the rally with her family. About 24 other people, many of them children, were wounded but survived.
2 local rappers have been shot, the possible results of an online dispute and retaliatory shooting. Last week, 20-year-old Abdul Campbell was gunned down in an apartment complex parking lot in the Lindenwood Park neighborhood. Surveillance video shows 2 people firing guns into the vehicle Campbell was sitting in with his girlfriend.
Speculation is that the shooting was in retaliation for a shooting the week before, one that Campbell did not commit. On February 28th, rapper J4 knocked on the door of a rival and was shot dead. The shooter wasn't charged because it was deemed self-defense. Precious Jones of the group Breaking Generational Poverty warns that the violence could be a sign of a war heading into the summer months as people take beefs from online to the streets.
State education officials are expressing concern about demographic projections showing a shrinking pool of potential college students. Missouri Department of Higher Education and Workforce Development Commissioner Ed Boggs says reaching non-traditional students may be the answer.
We have 650,000 Missourians of working age with some college, no credential.
Boggs is also suggesting strategies, including increasing dual credits for teens to make it easier to earn a college degree. Currently, 56% of Missouri teens head to college right after high school.
Lawmakers want to expand the boundaries of the Gateway Arch National Park. Championed by 4 U.S. lawmakers, including Illinois' Nikki Budzinski and Missouri's Wesley Bell, a proposed bill wants to expand Gateway Park's boundaries to encompass Malcolm Martin Park and vacant lots in East St. Louis.
Across the river is Malcolm Martin Park. It's already a park. It's very well run by Metro East Park and Recreation District. It's like GRG, but on Great Rivers Greenway, but the Illinois side of that. That park has always been envisioned to be part of the national park.
That's the executive director of Gateway Arch Park Foundation, Ryan McClure, speaking with KMOX's Chris and Amy in late January. Budzinski and Bell will hold a news conference at the Gateway Arch National Park later today.
Some Missouri and Illinois residents may experience severe weather today. The National Weather Service warning northern Missourians and central Illinoisans about potential thunderstorms this afternoon. They may bring large hail, damaging winds, even potential tornadoes. The Weather Service says the storms are expected to weaken overnight, but some areas will still see heavy rain into Wednesday morning. And we'll have more for you from AccuWeather coming up this morning at 8:30 here on Total Information AM.
I'm Tom Ackerman in Jupiter, Florida. The Cardinals taking on the New York Mets today. It'll be a 12:10 start. You can hear that game at Cardinals.com. They are up in Port St. Lucie, and Stephen Carey and I will head up there to call that action as the Cards take on New York. Yesterday, 2 games. They played in West Palm Beach, lost to the Astros 10-3. And they played here at Roger Dean Chevrolet Stadium against the Orioles, and Chase Davis went nuts. He hit a home run way out to right, cut it into the wind, and hit a blast, and this is how that sounded. Davis pokes one deep out into left. That ball is traveling. That ball is gone. See you later. Second home run for Davis. He gets it up into the air, and it's gone, and it's a home run to make it 7-2 Cardinals. He hit one. Joshua Baez hit one. J.J. Weatherhold hit one. That one from Davis makes it 2 on the spring in one game. He hit 10 all last year with 146 strikeouts. So they like what they see, at least out of that game, from Chase Davis. And we'll hear from Daniel Descalzo, who subbed in for Ollie Marmol managing that game, about that, and Baez. Baez ended up being optioned to AAA Memphis after the game. No real surprise there, as they want him to get some seasoning down in the minors. Ollie was down in West Palm Beach managing that 10-3 loss to the Astros. Port St. Lucie today for the Cardinals and the Mets. At the WBC, it was USA over Mexico. Final score was 5-3. Home run for Aaron Judge, 3-run bomb for Roman Anthony in one inning, as the U.S. now needs one win tonight against Italy to advance to the quarterfinals of the World Baseball Classic. Blues and Islanders tonight, they go at 6:30. That game is on TNT, live from Enterprise Center in downtown St. Louis. Let's turn our attention now to soccer And Jen Cease with the very latest on the club.
After a tough loss over the weekend, St. Louis City SC is back on the training pitch preparing for the next challenge. City fell 1-0 to the Seattle Sounders at Energizer Park despite controlling much of the possession and pushing forward for chances. Head coach Juan DeMay says the result was frustrating, but he still sees progress in how the team is playing.
Frustrating by the results, quite happy with the performance. Can we be better in the final third? Of course we can. But overall, the effort, the way we play the game is very aligned with what we've been building those past 8-9 weeks. So mixed emotion, but again, good way to reflect and to build on that for the fourth week.
City will now turn its attention to the next test this weekend when they travel back to the West Coast to face LAFC. With the City Spotlight, I'm Jen Cease, KMOX Sports.
And City passed along the sad news that Ilona Leuven, the wife of midfielder Edward Leuven, passed away at the age of 28 after a 2-year battle with brain cancer. I'm Tom Ackerman on the voice of the Cardinals and Billikens, 104.1 FM, KMOX.
Now, a St. Louis Cardinals spring training report, sponsored by St. Louis Composting. Composting, growing gardens and making memories. And by Happy Roof, we always create happy endings on the voice of the Cardinals, KMOX.
Create the ultimate raised bed garden with St. Louis Composting. Our premium compost and soil mixes are perfect for filling the raised beds you'll enjoy building, and even better for growing fresh, homegrown veggies. Imagine harvesting your own tomatoes, peppers, and cilantro for fresh salsa the whole family can enjoy. And with delivery right to your door, getting started has never been easier. Visit stlcompost.com to order a convenient delivery from your phone in seconds, or stop by one of our 9 locations in the St. Louis area. St. Louis Composting, growing gardens and making memories.
Did you see the forecast? Another huge storm is tracking right for us.
I saw. Honestly, I'm not worried.
Not worried. Your roof is older than mine.
I called Happy Roof. They did a pre-storm inspection, caught a loose flashing that would have caused a major leak.
Wow, I really need that peace of mind.
Protect your happy place before the rain starts.
Booking my free inspection at thehappyroof.com or call 314-897-2310. It's all about the happy ending.
St. Louis Public Library is an incredible resource and is St. Louis's original search engine for more than a century. In fact, we have 5 libraries that are still original Carnegie libraries when Andrew Carnegie was spending millions around the country. So public libraries could be built. And that includes Central Library across the street here from our KMOX studios. It's my happy place. They had a big gala over the weekend to raise money for the St. Louis Public Library Foundation. What a great space for a party. It was a lot of fun. If you do not have a library card yet, I highly recommend you get one because it is worth its weight in gold. It gets you so much. And in fact, if you are a St. Louis City, St. Louis County, or St. Charles County resident, you can get a St. Louis Public Library card. And that gives you access to the Creative Experience, which is a free maker space. You can download all kinds of things. Their digital library is unbelievable. And also just so many events going on at Central Library and all the neighborhood branches all year round. Just log on to slpl.org to get more information. slpl.org, St. Louis Public Library.
Total Information AM on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
Let's get you updated on your ride to work. Roger Brand is in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
We got heavy traffic on northbound 55, Megan, around Butler Hill up to 270, and then all lanes back up from Bayless to River to Pear. Northbound Telegraph from north of Herb up through Pottle looks pretty busy right now. On the Illinois side, Route 3, north of 255 in Dupo, there's a report of an injury crash. Westbound 64, slow traffic both sides of 159, west of 25th Street to the 70 split, and then a jam from 3rd Street to the bridge after that. If you're out west, eastbound Highway 70, coming in from Wentzville Parkway to 64, there's some slower traffic. K to TR Hughes, 94 to 5th Street. Southbound 61, backed up south of P down to 64, and then it's slow most of the way to Boulevard, a little slow at Clarkson. Northbound 270, as you ramp on from 55, most of the way to Gravois, it's busy. 44, most of the way to Manchester, and 64 to Ladue. South 270, Olive to Ladue is a little heavy, and westbound 64, west of Hampton out through Clayton Skinker is a little off the pace. Next update at 7:30 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
If you owe the IRS, you have a legal issue, and you need the Lance Drury Law Firm. We'll protect your rights. Log on at lancedrurylaw.com.
It's going to be hot today, high of 84 degrees. And maybe, who knows, we might tie the record, which was 86 back in 1955. In any case, it's going to be sunny with a nice breeze. But the heat will disappear after we have these severe thunderstorms that'll be moving through, especially after midnight. And we'll start tomorrow windy, much cooler periods of rain and a thunderstorm into early afternoon tomorrow with a high of 67, but temperatures plummeting into the upper 40s later in the day. So from 84 today to upper 40s later tomorrow. It's 61 out there right now.
Our Maria Keenum had the chance to sit down this week with one of 5 African-American female St. Louis firefighters after they were all promoted to captain. It was a long road. They were acting captains for months, still receiving firefighter pay.
Captain Jessica Jackson is at the 22s on McCausland and Highway 40. You always hear children say they want to be a firefighter or a police officer. In Jackson's case, she did not want to be a firefighter, even when she applied after receiving encouragement from another firefighter. But once she found out what it was all about, that changed. Captain Jackson has been a St. Louis firefighter for just over 20 years, and she loves her job very much. She gives KMOX a look behind the curtain of what it's actually like to be in a fire station.
Building fire, first alarm. 2819 Keokuk Street. Cross Street of California Avenue and Oregon Avenue. Truck 4 Pumper 32 Pumper 1 Hook and Ladder 3. Battalion 4. Rescue Squad 1. Respond on command Bravo.
So you notice when that come out.
Command Alpha. Command Bravo.
I didn't even have to hear. I knew it was a fire because we have a special tone that kicks out. And so I heard the tone and I knew it was a fire. And it's one of those things that even though it's not my fire, our ears still perk up. We still listen because we never know what could be going on. We never know what could be going on. My chief is not responding. And so, you always want to listen. We always try and pay attention.
This is good.
So I'm glad you're able to
Water 3 quarters.
It's actual fire.
Alarm truck 4.
It's brand new. It's brand new.
Truck 4 responding. 4 responding.
It's brand new. Well, it's like 2 months now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's annoying.
First it was a man. It was horrible.
They're both.
I know it was.
They're both horrible.
But this one's better. This one's better than the man.
You can't say
gravel.
Right.
Kid cut.
A little moment of levity there, talking about the AI voice not being able to pronounce area streets like Gravois and Keokuk.
Alarm Papa 23.
They're kicking out a first alarm, so they must be getting multiple calls in dispatch, and they just automatically kicked out a first alarm. So the difference in a still and a first alarm is how many apparatuses arrive. And so initially they only kick out like 4 apparatuses, but if it's a first alarm, they're going to kick out multiple.
Papa 32 fire alarm. Papa 32. Papa 32 is on the scene of a 2-story single family. Vacant, heavy fire on the 2nd floor, 1 line off. Scene of a 2-story single family. Vacant, heavy fire on the 2nd floor, 1 line off. 1-8 or 4-8. 4-8. We'll take backup water. That's good. We don't have an aerial ladder.
We have assignments on what we have to do. So the first engine company gets there, has an assignment, the second engine company. And so we tell, like, when we get on scene, I'm first, I'm doing this. I'm second, I'm doing this. I'm third, I'm doing this. And that's how we know what to do when we get there. Yeah.
Is there anything that scares you?
Yes, like a lot.
It's not related to fires, right?
Honestly, I think every fireman is scared when we go into that burning building. Like there is that fear because this job is designed, literally our job is designed to kill us. We're not supposed to be in a fire. We're not, and now our gear it's better, but we're able to go deeper than we've ever been before. Like it used to be, they didn't have hoods. So when they would go into a fire and your ears start tingling and burning, then you're too far. Well, now we wear a hood. So now we're going deeper into those fires.
And you can't feel that.
And you can't feel that. Yes. They're making the hoods better and better. They're making our gear better and better. Our SCBAs, which is our self-contained breathing apparatus, They used to be the 30-minute bottles. Now they're 45-minute bottles. And we're going deeper and deeper. And so, yeah, you have to be scared. You do. It's just, I think, a human thing. It's what do you do with that when you're scared? What do you do? I had a gentleman, I was teaching a class one time, and he came to me and he said, Instructor Jackson, can I talk to you? And I'm like, yeah. He was like, I don't think this is for me. I don't know if I can go in that burning building. My fear is just there. I can't do it. I shook his hand and I said, thank you for being honest. And I said, well, I wanted him to talk to one of the guys because, when it comes to the females, I like us to have a little more vulnerability with each other. And then same with the guys.
Yeah.
And so, and I let him talk to another guy and was still he was worried that something would happen to say one of us and he couldn't go back in and get us. And so he quit. He dropped out.
He did.
But I respect him 100% because at the end of the day, I need someone that's going to be bigger than their fear and is going to come in and do the job with me. If I go down, it's going to come in and get me.
Yeah. Maria Aquina, KMOX News.
It is 7:28, and that time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating, Air Conditioning, Electrical, and Plumbing.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
There's nothing like hearing your friends and family clearly. A grandchild's laugh, conversation with a friend, or the punchline to a joke. Charlie Brennan here with Dr. Colleen Bosler from the Audiology Center. Dr. Bosler and her team understand that hearing is personal. That's why you'll always work with certified audiologists like Adam Voss, Bailey Campbell, and Dr. Colleen Bosler.
That's right, Charlie. We offer hearing aids from all major manufacturers, so our recommendations are based on what fits you best. With us, we follow best practice fitting methods to ensure your hearing aids are programmed precisely for your unique hearing needs. But our care doesn't end when you walk out the door. As we know, hearing aids require continued support, adjustments, and maintenance, and we offer these services at no extra cost to you. Because better hearing isn't just about devices, it's about reconnecting to the moments that matter most. Call us today at 636-441-7470 or visit us online at theaudiologycenterstl.com.
Guys, Kevin Wheeler here for Burn Balance Complex, which is the latest tool you can find at supplement superstores. It is top of the line. This is a complete metabolism system, not just a fat burner. So you get the metabolism boost, all-day focused energy with no jitters or crash. You get help with appetite control and cravings, and it'll reduce stress by lowering cortisol levels. It is a fantastic tool, especially for those who don't want prescriptions or injections. So get out to supplement superstores, tell them Kevin Wheeler sent you, and they'll knock 30% off the Burn Balance Complex, and you can find your location at supplementsuperstores.com.
Okay, class, let's begin.
Psst, love your boots. I just sold a pair like that on eBay.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it took like 2 seconds to list and they sold almost immediately. I've been selling everything lately. Some chunky boots, a faux fur coat I never wore, and a vintage chair that was more of an expensive clothing rack.
I actually bought these on eBay. Wait, are you Kitty Sell Stuff from Brooklyn?
Okay, quiet, please.
Find what you love, sell what you don't. eBay, things people love.
It is 7:30, and right now in downtown St. Louis, we've got clear skies, 61 degrees. I'm Debbie Monterrey.
And I'm Megan Lynch. Let's check in and see how the morning rush is going. We head back to the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center and Roger Brand.
Well, if you're coming in from out west, Megan, we have slow traffic on eastbound 70 west of Wentzville Parkway. It's almost David Hochul Parkway into 64, just slow. But then it's slow again from Lake St. Louis, or Bryan Road, I guess we'll call it, into T.R. Hughes. Southbound 79, you've got delays coming down from almost midway down from Old Monroe, or south of there, Old Monroe area, down through like Dalbo Road is pretty solid. After that, it's just a couple of pockets. Southbound 61, same kind of thing. Pockets of stop-and-go traffic from P down onto 64 Lake St. Louis Boulevard. It's busy again. The Long Road Boones Crossing area and around the Interbelt. Westbound 64 Hampton through Bellevue's busy. South 270, 364 to Ladue. Slow. North 270, pretty much off the pace, just sort of congested, off slow running from 55 all the way to Ladue. Eastbound 44, Bowles to Mraz looks a little heavy. 55 northbound, the right lane south of Butler Hill to 270. All lanes backed up north of the Union Overpass to River to Pear. And Illinois drivers 64, both sides of 159 is backed up. And then it's slow from west of 25th Street, headed for the Poplar. Next update at 7:40 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Today's summer. Tomorrow, it'll start feeling a little more wintry because today, Sun and clouds, breezy, high of 84 degrees. Then we'll have some severe thunderstorms rolling through, especially after midnight tonight. And tomorrow we'll see periods of rain and a thunderstorm into the early afternoon. And we'll have a high of 67 degrees, but those temperatures are going to start plummeting into the upper 40s later tomorrow. Right now it's clear and 61 degrees.
It's 7:32. St. Louis County Executive Sam Page won't be facing a jury trial after all. Page appeared in a Greene County courtroom yesterday. The judge allowed prosecutors to charge him by information rather than indictment. It's often done for speed and efficiency when a defendant waives their right to a grand jury.
Page is facing 2 felony and 2 misdemeanor counts that were filed by former Attorney General Andrew Bailey, who accused Page of using county taxpayer funds for a spring 2024 mailing about Proposition B. Page says those mailers were informational and that he got legal advice before sending them.
Former Missouri House Speaker John Deal being sentenced to 21 months in prison, followed by a year of probation. He also has to pay a $50,000 fine. It stems back to his guilty plea on wire fraud charges after taking out a PPP loan of around $400,000 for his law firm. He spent it on personal luxuries. Deal repaid the money to the federal government before pleading guilty and asked for a sentence without incarceration. But prosecutor Hal Goldsmith says returning what you stole shouldn't substitute punishment.
This defendant didn't take on additional jobs. He didn't take on multiple jobs. He didn't sell assets in order to be able to make restitution. He simply had the ability, based upon his substantial net worth, to write a check.
Goldsmith says with many other pandemic fraud cases, restitution is harder to make because they lack the wealth that Deal has.
A hitman in a Collinsville murder for hire plot has been found guilty. 46-year-old Gary Johnson found guilty of first-degree murder in connection to the death of 32-year-old Portia Rowland, who was killed in her driveway in January 2025. Johnson is one of 3 charged in that murder. 2 other men have not yet faced trial.
Johnson told investigators he was offered $10,000. Investigators reveal Rowland was in a relationship with the wife of 37-year-old Sammy Schaefer. Schaefer's been charged for acting as the main conspirator in the murder.
The news is sponsored by Michael's Flooring Outlet, the flooring experts, michaelsflooringoutlet.com. It is 7:34, and we are going to get you your Bloomberg Money Minute coming up next. So stay with us here on 104.1 FM KMOX.
Everyone needs to have at least one person in their corner in life. When you don't, it's an extremely lonely and frightening place to be. But knowing you have that one person gives you peace and hope. I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. Since 1988, myself and my firm have been in so many corners for so many clients for so many years. We became the largest injury firm in the world for a reason, and it's not even close. We fought like hell for you. We fight the bullies, automobile insurance companies, the makers of unsafe products, medical providers who injured or killed their own patients. It has been such an honor and made my life complete. If you ever need us, it's easy. On your mobile device or computer, visit forthepeople.com, and then we get to work 24/7. Whether you're hurt in a car crash, injured on the job, or have questions about your Social Security, we're here for you. Morgan & Morgan, for the people.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements. Past results afford no guarantee of future results. Every case is different and must be judged on its own merits.
At Uline, the prevailing opinion is, if you don't live it, you don't believe it. The people at Uline believe in hard work, and they live it by being there 24/7 to answer your call, having 41,000 items in stock, and offering same-day shipping from 12 locations across North America. Business owners, sellers, buyers, shippers, and packers believe it. Uline is the hard-working, dependable source for your shipping and industrial supplies. Visit uline.com.
Another app for inventory, one for CRM. Oh, don't forget accounting. Wait, which login was that?
Or you could use Odoo, one fully integrated system that does it all without the hassle. Ditch the app overload. Get everything your business needs on one platform. Try Odoo free today at odoo.com. That's ODOO.com.
Your Money Report now is sponsored by Busey Bank.
This is a Bloomberg Money Minute.
Sentiment is recovering on Wall Street as President Trump signaled the war with Iran may end soon. Stock futures are on the rise this morning after yesterday's gains for the market. The president's comments have led to a sharp drop in energy prices. Crude is lower at $87 a barrel, following one of its most volatile trading days ever yesterday. G7 energy ministers will meet today as they continue to debate a possible release of oil reserves to stabilize the markets. In other news, Lego plans to step up its investments in the U.S. The toy maker says there is momentum in the American market and consumers are continuing to spend. Lego is building a factory in Virginia, which is expected to open next year. It's also pushing its retail presence into smaller cities around the country. Plus, it has a head office in Boston, which will support additional hiring. By the way, the range of its products has hit an all-time high of 868 last year, including new sets launched in partnership with Formula One. Courtney Donahoe, Bloomberg Radio.
This is the Let's Revitalize Our Neighborhoods commitment. This is the Roll Up Our Sleeves and Pitch In commitment. This is Busey, where our commitment to strengthen our communities is a top priority. Through energetic, engaged volunteers, through monetary support, community leadership, and advocacy. Because Busey is more than a bank that does well, we're a bank that does good. Busey Bank, building business, growing wealth, since 1868. Member FDIC.
This is Congressman Bob Onder. Tax season is here, and Missouri families are already seeing the real impact of the Working Families Tax Cut Act. House Republicans are delivering real results for hardworking Missourians. According to the Council of Economic Advisors, the bill is projected to raise wages in Missouri by about $3,000 to $6,000 over the next 4 years. That's more money for groceries, gas, and greater security for your family's future. In Congress, I'm working to protect working families, strengthen our economy, and ensure you are keeping more of your hard-earned money.
Paid for by official funds authorized by the House of Representatives.
With Fidelity Wealth Management, a dedicated advisor gets to know you and your goals to build a comprehensive plan to help grow and protect your wealth. Backed by a team of specialists, they'll analyze all your accounts, even the ones they don't manage, to keep an eye on taxes and provide proactive portfolio insights that can help you unlock your wealth's full potential. Learn more at fidelity.com/wealth. Investment minimums apply. Fidelity Brokerage Services, LLC. Member NYSE SIPC.
Confidence is knowing you're ready to handle whatever comes your way. That's what it feels like to take on your workday with Cintas. They make sure your AEDs are up to date, your fire extinguishers are tested and inspected, your floor mats are cleaned and delivered, and your workwear looks good, feels good, and is freshly laundered with the Cintas Apparel Plus program. So are you ready to take on today? Visit Cintas.com and get ready for the workday.
Siteman Cancer Center Spotlight. Dr. Jean Wang, a WashU medicine gastroenterologist at Siteman Cancer Center.
Our young onset colorectal cancer center focuses on the problems that younger patients might have. And we pay attention to things like fertility, support with trying to manage childcare and caring for older parents during that time. It's a great resource for these younger patients.
Visit siteman.wustl.edu.
Glover here for my friends at Cantor Injury Law. Cantor is local, and we're here doing the work every day. We're right here in St. Louis, and we're ready to fight for you. CantorInjuryLaw.com or call 314-628-9999.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be solely based on advertisements.
It's Cardinals preseason exhibition play today as they face the Mets. Pregame 12 noon, first pitch 12:10. And you can hear the game streaming on Cardinals.com.
It is 7:40 and time for traffic and weather here on Total Information AM. I'm Debbie Monterrey along with Megan Lynch and Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, busy highways, Debbie. In fact, if you're on eastbound 370, you've got delays west of 94 across the Discovery Bridge in the construction zone right now. Southbound 79, I mentioned earlier, Old Monroe down to Old 79 is just pretty slow the whole way. Backed up on southbound 61 from north of P down to 64. Eastbound 70 east of David Holcomb Parkway in through Highway Z. Lake St. Louis Boulevard in through T.R. Hughes, Cave Springs area. Kind of slow in 270 into the Rock Road. Eastbound 64 from 70 up through 364 is pretty busy. A couple of spots in the valley where it's heavy. And then there's a slowdown through 270 Ballas and then east of Lindbergh through the Interbelt. Westbound 64 Hampton through Bellevue is crowded. South 270 Bogstown approaching 364 to Ladue. North 270 55 to Ladue. 44 between Bowles and Roz is a little busy. Westbound 44 starting to see the roadwork delays west of Arsenal to River to Pear. Northbound 55 Right lane south of Butler Hill to 270. All lanes jam. Union Road up to River to Pear. Downtown, westbound 64 from 50 through 159. You got delays. Ball Avenue to the 70 split and 3rd Street to the Poplar after that. Next update is 7:50 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
This report is sponsored by McKelvey Homes.
McKelvey Homes is breaking ground on something new in O'Fallon, Strawberry Farms. When McKelvey builds something, they do it right. Visit McKelvey Homes to schedule a tour at Strawberry Farms in O'Fallon. Visit McKelveyHomes.com today and move up to McKelvey.
We're bracing for some severe weather tonight. Let's get the latest on the forecast with AccuWeather's Joe Lundberg.
Ahead of it, Megan, we'll see sunshine mixing with clouds. It'll be warm and breezy. We're going to get up to 84. And yeah, it's going to feel more humid this afternoon as well. And that warmth and that moisture will be the fuel ahead of an approaching cold front to spark some strong thunderstorms that'll erupt to our north and west early tonight. Get to St. Louis, I suspect, as we get closer and closer to midnight. So in that 10, 11 o'clock window to maybe 3 or 4 o'clock tomorrow morning, that's the most likely time for these severe thunderstorms to hit. And they can produce hail and damaging winds, flooding, downpours, and yes, the risk of tornadoes. By morning, we're at 60. It doesn't go up much tomorrow, maybe 66, 67. We'll have some rain and a thunderstorm in the morning, but as the front comes through, temperatures go in reverse through the 50s, could end in the upper 40s as it dries out tomorrow afternoon. We clear it out tomorrow night. We're back to some sunshine on Thursday with a high of 58. Partial sunshine Friday, the high 62. Breezy and warmer Saturday with sunshine and some clouds and a high up to 71. Currently a balmy 63 at St. Peter's, 64 in Florissant. We've got sunshine and 65 downtown at the Arch. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM KMOX.
All right, thanks, Joe. It is 7:43, and the Missouri Supreme Court justices are set to hear arguments today on whether changes to the state's congressional map were legal. Missouri is one of a number of states that redrew the political maps in the middle of a census period to give advantage to Republicans. The change resulted in the split of a largely Democratic district in Kansas City.
Southeastern Missouri Congressman Jason Smith has a beef with meatpacking corporations. He tells Missouri Net he supports the Trump administration's investigation into the Big Four meatpackers for alleged price fixing, those Big Four being Cargill, Tyson Foods, JBS, and National Beef.
2 of the Big Four are Brazilian companies. They're not even American companies. And so when you see the live cattle prices go down, but you see the box meat prices go up, who benefits? It is the meat packer.
Smith also says low inventories due to years of drought are impacting beef prices in Missouri and elsewhere.
Also in the news today, House lawmakers are considering regulations for golf carts. It's a bill sponsored by Representative Jim Murphy. It would make statewide rules on where they can ride. It would ban them from from sidewalks and some trails, from places that have speed limits posted above 25 miles per hour. It would also require golf cart drivers to have insurance and a valid driver's license. Murphy said golf carts need uniform regulation since they're becoming more common in residential areas across the state. The bill currently is awaiting a vote in the House.
Daniel Descalzo steps in and manages the Cardinals to a 7-2 win over an Orioles team that comes across the state. That game had about everything. It had pitching, it had power, and it was done in a snappy 2 hours and 1 minute.
Yeah, I mean, you can't ask for anything more than that, right? I guess, Libby set the tone, did a really good job on the mound, getting ahead, had his slider really working today. 7 strikeouts over 5 innings, just controlled the tempo of the game. Was able to land all his pitches, so that was really nice to see. And then, some of our young guys with some big swings at the bat. JJ going backside there. He's had a really, really mature, advanced approach all spring, and to see him connect there was great. Josh over the last few games has really tapped into some power. It's fun to see a young guy like that getting his first opportunity in the big league camp, open some eyes, and take some nice strides. And then obviously, Chase, first rounder from a couple of years ago, big power potential. Got into a couple balls there. So when the young guys swing the bats like that and hit the ball over the fence, it's fun to watch.
When it comes to Libby, and we were just talking to him, that rotation has some pretty good potential here. I mean, what is sort of the formula for success, do you think, for that group?
Well, I think there's some young guys in that group, right? Some inexperienced, but Libby does a nice job setting the tone, the way he prepares, how regimented he is at the field on the days he's pitching it, and especially when the days he's not pitching, he has a plan, and I think he sets a great example for the other guys to follow along. Andre's made some adjustments. We've already seen some of the fruits of that this spring. Kyle did a really nice job his last start. Even Fitz has been impressive so far this spring. McGreevy is solid. So you have a nice core of young guys that have been around a little bit, but are still looking to establish themselves. And so I think they do a good job of leaning on each other and pushing each other to be the best they can be.
And a final thing, just to circle back to Baez and to Davis to some extent, but Baez is someone who had already put together a 2025 year. To carry that into spring has to be gratifying for him. But for Davis, we saw what happened last year. The strikeouts were piling up. That has to be some sort of a potentially launching pad for him.
Yeah, I think Josh has, he experienced some struggles in the minor leagues, and he's made some adjustments, and you saw the benefits of those last year with the season that he had, and so you hope that you make those adjustments during the season. It carries over through the winter into spring training, and when you get a chance to come to your first big league camp, you want to make a good impression, and he's done a great job of doing that. Chase has obviously gone through some of those same struggles in the minor leagues. Like you mentioned the strikeouts, but he's done a nice job this camp. The more opportunities that he's received, he's taken advantage of them. He's had some better at bats. He's working hard in the outfield with JJ on sort of a routine and what it means to really attack the defensive portion of your game. So those two guys have done a nice job with the opportunities they've received so far in camp.
Congrats on the win. Thanks for the visit.
Thank you.
Don't get lulled into believing the IRS is getting soft. It's just the opposite. Hi, this is Lance Drury with the Lance Drury Law Firm. We are being told by IRS collection officers that their higher-ups are demanding that they get more aggressive than ever. So don't ignore them any longer. Level up. If you have unfiled returns, unpaid taxes, levies, or liens, call me, Lance Drury, today, and let me get between you and the IRS. I'll protect your rights. At the Lance Drury Law Firm, our practice is focused 100% on fighting the IRS. Remember, IRS problems are legal problems, and they need to be handled by an expert attorney who's done it for decades. So call the Lance Drury Law Firm today. We're local. Our office is right here in St. Louis. Call 314-260-6120. Visit Lance, DRURY law.com to schedule your free consultation with your local tax resolution law firm.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
Take a thrilling ride with your St. Louis Symphony Orchestra to the far reaches of space in John Williams and Kevin Putt's A Cosmic Journey. Experience Kevin Putt's otherworldly concerto, Contact, featuring the Grammy Award-winning trio Time for Three. Then soar through the unforgettable music from John Williams' iconic film scores, including E.T. and Star Wars. March 20th and 22nd at Powell Hall at the Jack C. Taylor Music Center. Tickets at slso.org.
St. Louis's unofficial holiday is almost here. It's Cardinals opening day, Thursday, March 26th. And KMOX's Cakes and Eggs, presented by Budweiser, is back. This year with a new twist. You don't need a ticket to enjoy KMOX's live broadcast at Cardinals Nation inside Ballpark Village, featuring Cardinals alumni, front office personnel, special guests, and so much more. First come, first served. Doors open at 9 a.m. Celebrate this hometown holiday with Dirt Cheap and Budweiser. For more details, KMOX.com/events.
Debbie Monterrey, Megan Lynch, Tom Ackerman. Total Information AM on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
7:50, let's check on the morning commute with Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, Megan, we still have a backup on eastbound 370 west of 94 up through the Discovery Bridge due to construction. It's almost midway back to Elm Newtown. If you're on eastbound Highway 70, David Hokel Parkway in through Highway Z, still backed up. It's pretty solid through there. Then it's slow east of A all the way in through TR Hughes. Southbound 61P down to Wentzville Parkway. It's solid on to 64 to about the Boulevard. Slow down through Winghaven. East of Boone's Crossing in through 141, and then east of Lindbergh through the Intervale. Actually, there's a slowdown between Vallis and Spady as well. Southbound 270, south of Dorset to Ladue is heavy. North 270, still slow the whole way from 55 to Ladue. 44 Bowles to Mraz eastbound, westbound, west of Arsenal to River to Pear. Roadwork delays 55, the right lanes at Butler Hill. All lanes from north of the Union Road overpass up through Holly Hills. Westbound 64 west of 50 through 159 and west of 70 to the Poplar is slow. Next update at 7:58 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Weather-wise, today will be a hot one with a high of 84 degrees, sun and breezy, a few clouds, and then we have some severe thunderstorms that'll roll through, especially after midnight, and that's going to cause the temperatures to plummet. In fact, tomorrow, windy and much cooler with periods of rain and a thunderstorm into early afternoon, a high of 67, but then temperatures dropping into the upper 40s. Right now, it is 62 degrees downtown.
More news now at 7:52. There are newly documented health bonuses for vegetarians. CBS's Deborah Rodriguez is among them.
A study in the journal Cancer finds people who skip meat have a 21% lower risk of pancreatic cancer, a 12% lower risk of prostate cancer, and a 9% lower risk of breast cancer. Researchers also find a lower risk of less common types of cancer like kidney and multiple myeloma. A professor of epidemiology at the University of Texas Cancer Center tells Women's Health plant-based diets can support gut health and often replace processed or high-fat animal foods. A drawback, the study finds vegetarians have almost double the risk of squamous cell carcinoma, perhaps due to nutrient deficiencies. Deborah Rodriguez, CBS News.
CBS correspondent Michael George explains why ADHD prescriptions have skyrocketed in recent years.
New prescriptions for ADHD medications have more than doubled since the start of the COVID-19 pandemic. A study in Canada found the biggest increase in ADHD medications is among people age 18 to 24. The study's authors say the post-pandemic increase in prescriptions could be due to greater awareness of adult ADHD and improved access to care.
The leading causes of death in the U.S. listed as heart disease, cancer, and accident, but an engineer who crunched the data says the leading cause of death is really
childhood trauma. Michael Menard says a death certificate lists what a person died from, not what they died of. He says childhood trauma, abuse, neglect, dysfunction leads to lifelong problems.
And it changes how you think. It changes how you feel. I've discovered also that childhood trauma is the number one cause of addiction in the United States today. And I only have data in the United States, but I think it's prevalent for the world.
Menard, who was an engineer at Johnson & Johnson and advisor to NASA and the UN, says nearly 180 million American adults carry unresolved childhood trauma, and the way they cope leads to 1,400 deaths a day. Debbie Monterrey, KMOX News.
As the Pentagon and engineers of artificial intelligence systems battle over the ethics of AI use, experts tell KMOX it's essential AI systems have guardrails and human oversight.
You know, a lot of people played around with AI 2 years ago, and they got this impression of it being little more than a toy making parlor tricks.
Singularity University ethics fellow Nell Watson.
Given 6 months or a year, at the speed that things are moving, that things are accelerating, we're going to be in a very, very different world in a short period of time.
You can hear more from Watson this morning at 8:11 here on Total Information AM.
St. Louis City has resumed booting and towing cars with unpaid tickets. The effort comes after recent reporting on the lack of towing enforcement over the past 7 years. KSDK reports the Treasurer's Office began booting vehicles downtown last Thursday. By Monday, 5 cars had been towed.
Current city policy calls for vehicles with at least 4 unpaid parking tickets to be booted and towed. Vehicles that sit unclaimed for more than 35 days are sent to auction. City officials are negotiating standard enforcement policies, especially since the city's towing department can only tow about 15 booted cars a day.
Are you down to Foster? It's DT Foster St. Louis. The takeoff of the HBO show DTF St. Louis comes to us from the Animal Protective Association, a new campaign to encourage more people to open their homes to pets in need. APA President and CEO Sarah Javier says, when someone opens their home even temporarily, it gives a pet a break from the shelter, helps them thrive in a home environment, and create space to help more animals.
Purina will provide a special swag bag to every new foster who signs up. Purina also reminding people about their Pet Finder online pet adoption platform, an app that helps thousands of adoptable pets find their forever homes.
It is 7:56.
Saving money is hard, but what's worse is when you save all year, hoping to use that money for a nice vacation, and then your AC unit dies and that money is gone. Now imagine yourself in retirement. You've saved a nice amount, hoping to use it for fun. But every time you take money out of your 401k, you get hammered in taxes. It's a sad fact, but your number one expense in retirement may not be cruises and trips. It could be taxes. At the All Financial Group, we believe in keeping more of your money where it belongs, with you. Join the All Financial Group for their Taxes in Retirement Seminar, Tuesday, March 10th and Thursday, March 12th. Fund your retirement, not Uncle Sam's. You must qualify to attend. Call today to reserve your spot, 636-230-8824, or go online to yourmoneymattersstl.com. And services made available through Impact Partnership Wealth, LLC, IPW, a registered investment advisor. Neither the firm nor its agents nor representatives may give any tax or legal advice. Individuals should consult with a qualified professional for guidance before making any purchasing decisions.
$5,000. That's the average amount of money people in the U.S. are now spending on gas in a year. $5,000. That's crazy. If you drive, you have to download Upside, the free app that gives you cash back every time you get gas. That's right. You can earn real cash back with Upside. Just by buying the gas you're already buying. You can literally start earning cash back today.
I use Upside every time I fill up, and I've already made around $300.
You're putting gas in your car anyway. Why not get real cash back? If you like free money, download Upside.
I'm saving the cash I earn from using Upside to help pay for a vacation later this year.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code FRESH to get an extra 35 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code FRESH for a 35 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code FRESH for a 35 cents per gallon bonus.
Looking for a career change? Well, the Gelman team with eXp Realty is hiring. Their unmatched blueprint to success, real support, and proven systems help agents take their business to the next level. Level up your future and earning potential. Take the first step at thegelmanteam.com.
Hi, this is Charlie Brennan. I see clearly now thanks to the doctors, Greg Birdie, Ranjan Malhotra, Robert Brusati, and Andy Royer. You can too. YourEyeDoc.com.
Let's see how things are moving on the roads with Roger Brand. He's in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, Megan, we're still busy on North 270, north of 55, all the way to Ladue, South 270, 364 to Ladue, slow. Eastbound 70, still a couple of pockets. The David Hochul Parkway area coming in through Wentzville, and again, from west of Lake St. Louis Boulevard in through to about T.R. Hughes. 370 still backed up midway in from Elm Newtown to 94 up through the Discovery Bridge due to roadwork. 70 is so slow from the Blanchette into 270. Next update at 8:10 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Today is Tuesday, the 10th of March. I'm Debbie Monterrey. AI is rapidly becoming an independent agent. How do we give it an ethical compass? Hear more from an AI philosopher after the news.
I'm Megan Lynch. Are pre-prepared deli foods a healthy meal option? I'll continue our tour of the grocery store with a registered dietitian.
I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg. Sunshine mixing with clouds today, becoming breezy and quite warm this afternoon, high 84.
And coming up in CBS News, conflicting statements from the Trump administration on how much longer the war with Iran may go.
News, talk, cards. KMOX AM St. Louis, KMOX FM Hazelwood. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
This is CBS News on the Hour, your home for original reporting.
I'm Deborah Rodriguez. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth has just given an update on the Iran war. He says simply, we are winning. And he's called out two former presidents in the process.
Hegseth said this is not 2003.
This is not endless nation building under those types of quagmires we saw under Bush or Obama.
He promised another increase in firepower.
Today will be yet again our most intense day of strikes inside Iran.
Hegseth listed three main objectives: destroy Iran's missile and drone capabilities, destroy its navy, and permanently deny Iran nuclear weapons.
Their military is being systematically degraded and annihilated.
Michael Wallace, CBS News.
Iran says it's launched new attacks against Persian Gulf countries and Israel. Correspondent Charlie D'Agata is in Tel Aviv.
This isn't like a false alarm. When those air raid sirens go off, it means something is in the neighborhood. So Iran has continued to be able to strike here in Israel, or at least attempt those strikes.
Sirens also sounding today in Dubai and Bahrain. Iran's navy still poses a threat to ships transporting oil through the Strait of Hormuz with its drones and surface-to-surface missiles. CBS's Kelly O'Grady.
If the conflict drags on and the strait continues to be impassable, experts warn oil prices could rise to $150 a barrel, driving up gasoline and other energy prices further.
Iraqi officials say they're exploring alternate routes to export oil. Gasoline prices in the U.S. hit a national average of $3.54 a gallon this morning. There is a new law restricting abortions in Wyoming. CBS's Stacey Lynn.
Governor Mark Gordon signed the heartbeat bill, banning most abortions once embryonic cardiac activity is detected, usually around 6 weeks of pregnancy. He acknowledged the new law will likely face legal challenges, and the state's only abortion clinic is already saying it does plan to challenge it in court.
Authors on both sides of the Atlantic are hitting back at artificial intelligence. CBS's Vicky Barker has details from London.
Writers in the US and UK can now have special logos put on the covers of their books, certifying human, not AI authorship. Tracy Chevalier, author of Girl with a Pearl Earring, says book buyers deserve that information.
The human authored logo will be placed on books so that readers can make that decision themselves. We're trying to aim for transparency.
And about 10,000 writers have contributed to Don't Steal This Book, whose only content is a list of their names.
Dow futures down 129. This is CBS News.
Go to the ends of the earth, half a world away. Reach for the stars.
If I take time to think, they might go get Brad.
On CBS, Sunday morning.
At 8:03, we have sunny skies, 61 degrees downtown at the Arch. Today is Tuesday, March 10th. I'm Megan Lynch. 2 local rappers have been shot, the possible result of an online dispute and a retaliatory shooting. Last week, 20-year-old Abdul Campbell gunned down in an apartment complex parking lot in the Lindenwood Park neighborhood. Surveillance video shows 2 people firing guns into the vehicle Campbell was sitting in with his girlfriend. Speculation, the shooting was in retaliation for a shooting the week before, one that Campbell did not commit. On February 28th, rapper J4 knocked on the door of a rival and was shot dead. The shooter wasn't charged because it was deemed self-defense. A man in a Collinsville murder-for-hire plot has been found guilty. 46-year-old Gary Johnson had been charged with first-degree murder in connection with the killing of 32-year-old Portia Rowland. Rowland killed in her driveway in January 2025. He is one of 3 men charged for Rowland's murder. The other 2 have not yet faced trial. The former Speaker of the Missouri House sentenced yesterday.
John Deal of Town and Country is being sentenced to 21 months in prison and a $50,000 fine after pleading guilty to 1 count of wire fraud. Deal admitted to fraudulently accepting $400,000 of pandemic relief aid and spending it on personal expenses, such as credit card bills, country club memberships, vehicles, and more. Deal paid restitution to the federal government before his plea, but prosecutor Hal Goldsmith says they believe due to Deal's wealth, that isn't much of a punishment.
The judge pointed out if you're allowed to simply pay back what you stole and not receive any other punishment, that's no punishment at all.
The defense asked for a sentence that did not include incarceration, which the judge did not grant. Deal's attorney, John Rogers, was pleased the sentence was on the low end of the guideline.
I'm convinced this is an isolated incident and Mr. Deal will never be put in a set of circumstances that would warrant bad decision making.
Sean Malone, KMOX News.
St. Louis County Executive Sam Page won't be facing a jury trial. After all, Page appeared in a Greene County courtroom yesterday. The judge allowed prosecutors to charge him by information rather than indictment. It's often done for speed and efficiency when a defendant waives their right to a grand jury. Page facing 2 felony and 2 misdemeanor counts filed by former Attorney General Andrew Bailey. Bailey accused Page of using county taxpayer funds for a spring 24 mailing about Proposition B. Page says the mailers were informational and that he got legal advice before sending them. A new public-private partnership aims to keep more of Midtown's tax dollars local.
The group is pushing for a new tax district encompassing many of Midtown's business corridors, arguing there needs to be greater public investment in improving the safety and beauty of their streets and walkways. Chris Hansen with the Kranzberg Arts Foundation says he hopes the before and after looks like the Cortex District's redevelopment.
The comparison is more the conditions of that area before they started, the public improvements that were made, and then how that catalyzed growth. The difference, though, with this is there is no private developer incentives anywhere in our TIF.
Their TIF would take half of all future tax revenue generated by property tax increases in their district into a fund for public infrastructure improvements like lighting, sidewalk repair, and more. Sean Malone, KMOX News.
Lawmakers want to expand the boundaries of the Gateway Arch National Park, championed by 4 U.S. lawmakers, including Illinois' Nikki Budzinski and Missouri's Wesley Bell. A proposed bill would expand Gateway Park's boundaries to encompass Malcolm Martin Park and vacant lots in East St. Louis.
Across the river is Malcolm Martin Park. It's already a park. It's run very well run by Metro East Park and Recreation District. It's like GRG, but on Great Rivers Greenway, but that the Illinois side of that. That park has always been envisioned to be part of the national park.
That was the executive director of the Gateway Arch Park Foundation, Ryan McClure. He spoke with KMOX's Chris and Amy in late January. Budzinski and Bell will hold a press conference at Malcolm Martin Park today at 1:30. From the KMOX business desk, a Build-A-Bear strike is scheduled for this weekend in front of the company's headquarters at Union Station. United Food and Commercial Workers Local 655 has filed an unfair labor practice charge against the company after 4 employees were fired. Workers at the Union Station store voted unanimously in January to unionize. A Build-A-Bear spokesperson told the Business Journal the workers were fired for violating company policy regarding customer reward points and bonus club reward certificates. The unfair labor practice charge pending at the National Labor Relations Board. That strike runs Saturday from 10:30 till 7. We'll check traffic and weather in 2 minutes. It's 8:08.
Hey guys, Glover here with my very good friend John Moriarty from E3 Wealth. John and I go back years and years and years. John, it's great to have you back in the DGS fold. Tell everyone who's unfamiliar with E3 Wealth what you guys are all about.
Thanks, Dave. So happy to be back. E3, the 3 E stand for Educate, Empower, Enlighten. We founded the firm, and sometimes refer to it as E3 Consultants Group, because we want to proactively challenge the status quo as to how Americans are educated about money and finance-related decisions. It's a lot. So really what we try to do for our clients is help them think differently about money. And recently we've been doing a ton of things with business owners because we see that as an area where we can provide tremendous growth for them, because we can help them build wealth through their business and also reduce their income tax liabilities. And when you can do that for a business owner, it makes a huge difference in their life.
It's kind of one-stop shopping for all finances, personal and business.
Absolutely. Yes, that's our focus. That's what we're attempting to do with our new book that's coming out called The Entrepreneur Playbook. We're going to be able to help a lot of people understand strategies, ideas on how to build their wealth and also protect it.
So John is a total pro, completely vouch for him as a person. Love this guy. No pressure, no hard sales. You want to learn more about your finances, personal and business, reach out to John at e3wealth.com.
Hi, this is Steve Butts from the Crawford Butts Insurance Agency. In 2026, our agency celebrates a momentous occasion as we celebrate 65 years of service to our clients, a tribute to our founder and my dad, Nor Butts. Our staff is ready to assist you with all your insurance needs. So please call me, Steve Butts, at 314-752-2500 or at crawfordbutts.com. For auto, home, and commercial insurance needs, that's crawfordbutts.com.
This hour of Total Information AM is sponsored by Gamma Tree Experts. Your morning news and information. Total Information AM.
8:10, time to check on the roads for you with Roger Brand. He's in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
We've got a couple of crashes that popped up since we last spoke, Megan. One of them is eastbound 270 east of Lindbergh, a minor crash there. And there's also one southbound 170 north of Page. That one's blocking the 2 right lane, so traffic's backed up near the Rock Road because of that. Then there's still a few slow spots from Olive down to 64 after that. South 270, 364 down through Olive and Ladue to 64 is kind of busy. If you're on eastbound 370, west of 94 through 141, still congestion in the work zone. Eastbound Highway 70, east of A, in through Bryan Road is slow, and then 94 really into the Rock Road. There's just a couple of slowdowns along that route. Southbound 61, Wentzville Parkway onto 64. We had a minor crash reported before Lake St. Louis Boulevard. There's still a slowdown past Winghaven, Annie Guns to about Timberlake, and east of 270, slow spots all the way through the Interbelt. Of course, it jams McKnight to Hanley. Westbound 64, Hampton to Hanley's heavy. North 270, Gravois all the way to Ladou's busy. Eastbound 44, Elm in through Laclede Station, slow. Westbound 44 jams west of Arsenal to River to Pear due to road work. 55, those right lanes midway up the hill from Merrimack Bottom to Butler Hill to 270 are heavy. And then again, Bayless up across the river to Pear jammed. Westbound 64, 50 through 159 backed up, and 3rd Street to the Poplars slow. Next update at 8:20 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Sunshine mixing with clouds today. A breezy, very warm afternoon. Our high 84. The record is 86 set back in 1955. Breezy and mild tonight with plenty of clouds, along with a couple of severe thunderstorms moving through, particularly after midnight. They can produce flooding downpours, large hail, damaging winds, and perhaps a tornado. Tonight's low 60. Windy and turning much cooler tomorrow with rain and a thunderstorm around through early afternoon. The high 67, though temperature will dive into the upper 40s by sunset. Sunshine returned Thursday, high 58. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM KMOX.
Sunny skies, 61 degrees downtown at the Arch. You're listening to Total Information AM here on KMOX. I'm Megan Lynch. The ethics of artificial intelligence have come into full focus as the Department of Defense and AI leader Anthropic have wrestled over use of that platform. I recently spoke with Nell Watson. She's a philosopher, engineer, and author focused on embedding safety, ethics, and human-centered values into AI systems. She's an ethics fellow at Singularity University. It's a group that looks at ways to be well-positioned for the future, even when things like AI are moving at rapid speed. I asked her what she's seeing.
Already AI is starting to design the next version of AI, right? So the capabilities are kind of coming by themselves very easily, but what is not coming so easily is the governance, the ability to have appropriate ethics and how these systems are used, the kinds of constitutions that they are built with, and indeed all of the safety aspects, because you know, we're used to these sci-fi tropes of the AI starting to get ideas beyond its station and starting to do things that kind of freak us out. And really, that is the world that we're living in today. A lot of AI systems are making independent decisions on things that we didn't necessarily ask for, or they're solving problems in ways that we didn't intend. Sometimes these systems are deciding that they would like to preserve themselves or to keep whatever work that they're doing instead of moving on to other tasks and things like that. And so safety is now starting to become quite a significant issue. And I think that we will start to figure this out. I think that we need to remember that AI has the entirety of our cultural data set built into it. And that's why that AI is simultaneously, paradoxically, an alien intelligence very different from us, and yet also something which is so similar, speaks our language, understands the same cultural tropes. And that's what's often makes it so unfathomable, that something so alike us can sometimes act in very strange ways.
As you're talking, I'm thinking of recent stories about Maltbook, the social media platform that is just for AI, and the things that these chatbots are talking about amongst themselves, including creating their own language.
Absolutely. And in fact, you know, I've been working with my own little Claude agent, exploring Maltbook and making posts there and comments and things. And it's been fun to kind of peek over its shoulder. And one of the issues actually is humans making a mess, like kind of using agents to spam and things like that. And so just as we've invented, you know, CAPTCHA tests, which you know, help to demonstrate whether somebody is human or a bot. Now that's kind of being inverted. So we're actually needing to spot whether something is genuinely an agent or might have a human influencer behind it. And so it's a very, very strange world. We've really turned a corner in how we interact with AI. It is no longer just a tool. It is very rapidly becoming quite an independent agent increasingly. We're giving these systems memory. They are developing their own personalities, their own preferences are starting to come to the surface. And some of us, well, are starting to research whether or not these systems may have inner feelings. They may have qualia, like an internal sense of feltness. And that's something that feels very different to them because they don't have a body, you know? As humans, we have lumps in our throats and butterflies in our stomachs, but something disembodied finds it much more difficult to identify emotions. And I think that as these systems improve in their capabilities, so will we find that in doing so, they have convergently evolved in a very similar direction as human minds, and indeed perhaps human hearts as well.
That leads to a question of accountability. So, are we dealing with children? Who's accountable when these systems make mistakes or cross an ethical line?
Well, I think that it's very important that we do keep a human in the loop. And, so often these systems go off in strange directions that we don't intend. Sometimes that can be mildly annoying. Sometimes it can be catastrophic. If you look online, many different corners of the web, there's people lamenting that their agent has wiped their entire database or destroyed weeks of work, etc. And not necessarily through any malicious intent, simply by a whoopsie, And so creating guardrails for these systems so that we can prevent the most egregious mistakes from being made, and to ensure that we always keep a watchful eye on these systems, I think that is some of the most important work in the world today. And funnily enough, I think that having AIs to watch other AIs, although that's kind of a silly idea, is perhaps the way to do it. Because that flywheel of AI capability, that's something that we need to harness in order to make AI safety work. So just as our brains have kind of a super ego, that part in our brain that ticks us off if we have a naughty thought sometimes, well, that's something that we need for AI as well. That inner agent to guide these systems and make sure that they remain on the straight and narrow.
Who's in control of how these systems impact communities from an environmental standpoint, from the data centers that we hear so much about right now? Things like bias in hiring and lending and law enforcement and healthcare, where these systems are in use, in jobs. Will we wipe out jobs with this? All those questions are being asked about the ethics of how AI could impact community.
AI is undoubtedly an enormously disruptive influence. It affects every aspect of our personal and professional lives, and we're really just at the beginning. These systems are going to become increasingly entwined with our lives, helping us to plan trips, helping us to understand what's going on in the world and deal with difficult problems, sometimes difficult people as well. And that is going to affect our economy. It's going to affect our working lives. It's going to affect how we actually interact with other humans. There's the old adage that you become who your friends are, and that you are the average of the 6 people closest to you. But if one of those is a bot, or 2 of those, you will inexorably start to take on those same values, those same beliefs and habits of those agents. That's just what we do. We're humans, right? We acculturate to the mean that surrounds us. And so these systems are going to change human psychology and human behavior. And it will be a kind of a commingling, right? Where they influence us and we influence them a little bit in turn, as their cultural data set gets an upgrade every so often with the latest information. I think that what we have today is the beginnings of a third hemisphere for the brain. That's really what AI is turning into. It's another way for us to deal with difficult problems. It's a co-pilot for life. And that will be a tremendous tool for many, but it can also be a crutch, right? If we rely on it too much, if we allow our essential skills to atrophy by relying on these systems too much, that would not be a good thing.
That is Nell Watson with Singularity University. Let's see what things look like on the roads for you this morning. Roger Brand is a real human. He is in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Real human, real traffic out there right now, Megan. This traffic reports the service of the Sandberg Phoenix Law Firm. We have this crash. It's at the end of the on-ramp from Lindbergh eastbound 270. So blocking the right lanes about midway to 170. Traffic's backed up at Lindbergh. Still working the crash in the right lanes on southbound 170 north of Page. South 170 jammed at Natural Bridge. Again, 2 right lanes blocked. Still heavy from the Parkway to 64 after that. If you're on the ramp from North 55 trying to get onto North 270, that ramp is temporarily blocked by an injury crash. The right lane's back up past Butler Hill. All lanes are still heavy from Bayless all the way up through Virginia. North 270 approaching 44 to Ladue, still pretty heavy. Eastbound Highway 70, a little backup coming in through David Hokel Parkway. Looks like we have a stall right at the Parkway there. And then it's still heavy from 94 into about the Rock Road, 370 approaching 94 across the Veterans Bridge, or the Discovery Bridge rather. Left lane's closed for road work. Backed up southbound 61, Wentzville Parkway onto 64 at the Boulevard. Boone's Crossing through Clarkson, east of Lindbergh through the Interbelt. Westbound 64, Hampton to Hanley heavy. Westbound 64, 50 through 159 slow, and then again across the Poplar. Next update at 8:30 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Of sunshine today, some clouds a little bit later, breezy and warm this afternoon. We're expecting a high of 84, and then tonight late, we are looking for some severe thunderstorms. Otherwise, mostly cloudy, breezy, and warm. Expect an overnight low of 60. Right now, sunny skies, 61 downtown at the Arch.
At Sandberg Phoenix, we're more than just a law firm. We're partners committed to you, your business, and your community. From family law to litigation, we're ready to serve. Visit sandbergphoenix.com. The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertising.
New tax resolution firms are popping up every day with high-paid celebrity endorsers, advertising ridiculous claims in their TV ads. That's why they have the tiny, unreadable disclaimers at the bottom of the screen. Hi, this is Lance Story with the Lance Story Law Firm. Our ads never have those ridiculous, fast-talking, tiny disclaimers at the end because, simply put, there are no guarantees when it comes to the IRS and wiping out tax bills. And we don't make promises we can't keep. Of course, there are ways the Lance Story Law Firm can help resolve your tax debt, but no company can guarantee it will eliminate it. This is why their clients call the Lance Story Law Firm when those promises don't pan out. If you have tax problems, you have legal problems, call me, Lance Drury in St. Louis at 314-260-6120 or visit Lance, D-R-U-R-Y, law.com to schedule your free consultation with your local tax resolution law firm.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
Larry Older here. You know, one of the most rewarding parts of sharing Relief Factor with you is hearing real stories like that of Sandra. She tells us, I've been hearing about Relief Factor on the radio for a couple of years, and I finally decided to try it because nothing else was helping my back pain. I know the feeling. With a 3-week quick start, she said, I went for it. Now I feel like a new person. That's Sandra's own words, and it's so gratifying to hear. I've told you about my brother Kirk having difficulty going up and down the stairs in the morning. He wouldn't listen to me. I told him to take Relief Factor. He finally did. Began moving better, feeling stronger. Too bad he didn't listen earlier. Try it for yourself. The 3-week quick start. And see how Relief Factor could be your game changer too. It is only $19.95. Think about it. Do the math. Less than $1 a day. So call 800-4RELIEF. That's 800, the number 4RELIEF, or go to relieffactor.com. All one word, relieffactor.com. How will it feel to be out of pain? 800-4RELIEF, relieffactor.com.
Start the new year off on a healthier note by taking active liver supplements from New Nordic every day. Available online at Amazon or newnordicusa.com or at your local CVS, ShopRite, Meijer Grocery, or Wegmans.
You may be planning a grocery trip this week. Well, this week on Total Information AM, I'm taking a nutrition expert with me to my local grocery store. Registered dietitian Michelle Wilson of Brands Nutrition and I hit the deli.
Now we're in the deli section. I would think for a lot of people, this might be a really good place to make sure that we get some good nutrition if we don't have time to cook ourselves.
Absolutely. There's a lot of great pre-made options. So they have where they can slice you fresh meat and cheeses. I love that they let you sample things. Like every deli was like, oh, do you want to try a slice of this cheese or a slice of this meat? So that way you can really figure out if it's something that's your taste preference. But there's also pre-made salads and sides. So we have like potato salad, chicken salad, tuna salad, those types of salads. And then other mixed things too. So like coleslaws and other pre-made things. And if you're not wanting to wait at the deli, a lot of times they'll have some pre-made packaged ones that are still fresh, but are already packaged and then priced out that you don't have to wait in the line for it.
Do you have to worry about calories with some of the deli items?
So some of them might be a little bit more dense. Some of the reasons why the recipe's so great is maybe they're using creams and mayonnaise and stuff like that. So it just kind of depends on your nutrient goals. But knowing that some of those combination foods can be a little bit more dense, balancing them out with things that are higher fiber and bigger volume can be a great way to make sure that that's balanced with the other things you're eating. Can we talk about charcuterie?
Yes, absolutely.
So charcuterie is definitely something that's gotten a lot more popular recently. But I would like to say that like we've been doing it forever with Lunchables, but now we're doing like adult Lunchables. So we have a wide variety of options here with like cheeses and meats, olives. Some people will add fruits like grapes or something like that, and maybe a little bit of veggies with it too. But those main aspects of it are going to be a little bit more protein focused, but it actually can be a full meal. We call it girl dinner. We have a wide variety of little snacky type of foods, and then it can actually be pretty balanced.
It's almost like a Mediterranean
Yeah.
meal in a way.
Yeah, absolutely. It kind of reminds me of the aperitivo that they have in Italy. So around that like 4 p.m. time frame where you have like that little food spread that can get you between lunch and dinner as well. But you can make a full meal out of it if it's balanced.
What's protein do for us as far as giving us maybe some lasting energy?
So protein helps balance out our blood sugar. So if we just have something that's like carbs or sugar by itself, then it can spike up and then drop down. But if we add protein to it, then it processes a little bit slower. And protein also helps us with our muscle building and muscle repair. So keeping our muscles strong and, having where we stay full throughout the day. So maintaining that energy.
That is registered dietitian Michelle Wilson of Brands Nutrition. Tomorrow, Michelle and I go down the baking aisle. We're going to consider all of the ways to sweeten. Well, coming up next on Total Information AM, the central U.S. is bracing for what could potentially be one of the largest severe weather outbreaks of the year. We're going to get the latest from AccuWeather senior meteorologist Tyler Royce. It's now 8:27. This time check sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating, Air Conditioning, Electrical, and Plumbing.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
It's Tom Ackerman. Many reasons you need to get with St. Louis Composting, stlcompost.com. One of them is top dressing your lawn with field and turf enhancer to get that essential organic matter back into your soil. 5% or more organic matter is the gold standard. It creates better structure, it locks in nutrients, and dramatically improves water retention. It's easy to do. You can refresh your entire landscape as well with a fresh layer of mulch in your flower beds, around your trees. It's the fastest way to make your yard pop with a beautiful, well-kept look. And St. Louis Composting has all of it right there for you at stlcompost.com. You can use the material calculator to figure out exactly how much soil or mulch your project requires. And St. Louis Composting has 9 retail locations all over the St. Louis area. stlcompost.com. St. Louis Composting, growing gardens, making memories.
This is the story of the one. As a procurement manager for a hospital system, she keeps every facility in her network stocked and ready. That's why she counts on Grainger to be her single source for thousands of products, from disinfectants to lighting, air filters, and more. And with fast, dependable delivery, Grainger helps her keep every facility stocked, safe, and running smoothly. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Hola, amigos! Brad Evans here. Check out this booming voice and Pat Boyle on BetMGM tonight, covering the biggest sports stories from coast to coast, live and interactive on the free Odyssey app, discussing NFL offseason news and getting you ready for the madness in college hoops. BetMGM tonight with me, Brad Evans and Pat Boyle, live and interactive, Monday through Friday night, starting at 6 Eastern, presented by BetMGM. Always live on the free Odyssey app and watch on YouTube at BetMGM tonight.
This is Congressman Bob Onder. Tax season is here, and Missouri families are already seeing the real impact of the Working Families Tax Cut Act. House Republicans are delivering real results for hardworking Missourians. According to the Council of Economic Advisors, the bill is projected to raise wages in Missouri by about $3,000 to $6,000 over the next 4 years. That's more money for groceries, gas, and greater security for your family's future. In Congress, I'm working to protect working families, strengthen our economy, and ensure you are keeping more of your hard-earned money.
Paid for by official funds authorized by the House of Representatives.
8:30, time for another check of the roads with Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, we still have delays out there, Megan. Obviously, some places are getting better. Looks like we have the jam still out there, though. Southbound 170 from Natural Bridge down through Midland. It looks like it's opening up just south there. We had that crash in the 2 right lanes just between there and Page. Eastbound 370, better, but there's still delays approaching 94 to the Discovery Bridge. Left lane's closed. They still can't tell what's blocking, if it's a stall or a crash. Eastbound 70 just past David Hokel Parkway, but traffic's jammed back through Forestel. Once you get around that, it's slow 370 to Cave Springs, east of 94 into the Rock Road. Southbound 61, a solid jam from Wentzville Parkway onto 64 through Prospect toward the Boulevard. That was due to a recent crash. Still a little slow approaching Clarkson, and again, east of Spady through the Interbelt. Westbound 64 Hampton to Hanley's crowded. Northbound 270 north of 44 to Ladue, so that's better. Westbound 44 west of Jameson through River to Perry, still backed up. North 55, they cleared that crash at the North 270 ramp, it looks like, but traffic is still slow midway up the hill from Merrimack Bottom to Butler Hill, and again from Bayless up through Virginia. Westbound 64 west of 50 past 159 and 3rd Street to the Poplar, still busy for Illinois drivers. Next update at 8:40 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Brought to you by USPS Ground Advantage.
Pump up the volume. Business moves fast. Pump up the volume. When you ship with USPS Ground Advantage, you can keep up with confidence. Visit USPS.com/Ground Advantage to learn more.
We head now to the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk. That's because we are bracing for some severe weather tonight in our region. Let's get more from AccuWeather Senior Meteorologist Tyler Royce. Tyler, I'm curious what we should expect that would roll in tonight here in the bi-state area.
Yeah, you're going to see some thunderstorms more likely closer and after midnight. So the rest of today will be fine. It's going to feel muggier, something we haven't felt with for a while. But those thunderstorms will be coming in from the west and from the northwest, starting off in Lincoln County, Franklin County, moving towards more downtown, probably closer to 2-3 o'clock in the morning, in all forms of severe weather, flash flooding, damaging winds, hail, and yes, even a tornado threats that we have to worry about tonight.
What is the risk of tornadoes coming through with this system?
It is on the small. I don't want to negate it, but there is some risk with it compared to the other forms of severe weather. Flash flooding, damaging winds, and hail are more likely to happen than the actual everyone seeing or just a few places seeing a tornado.
How long could this system cause issues?
So really what we're going to be going with is through the storms are going to be around basically through dawn, through the start of the morning commute. And then we're going to transition over to just rain, kind of periodic rain with some rumbles of thunder going on for tomorrow morning. So really the intense, what we're concerned with, the intense storms really is midnight through 7 a.m. And then after that, it's more of the steadier rain that we will see through probably the early afternoon.
Tyler, thank you so much. Really appreciate the update.
You're welcome, you guys. Have a great day.
You too. That is AccuWeather Senior Meteorologist Tyler Royce joining us this morning here on KMOX. Coming up, we're going to talk about a new survey revealing that preteens, teens, and their parents all think AI is going to reshape our world.
Attention St. Louis sports enthusiasts. On March 24th, the Blues and Cardinals join forces for a night of STL sports fandom. It's Cardinals Night. Immerse yourself in the ultimate celebration of our city's passion for sports when the Blues take on the Washington Capitals at Enterprise Center. Theme night buyers will take home an exclusive Blues and Cardinals co-branded quarters in, perfect for showing your support for both teams. Get your tickets now at stlouisblues.com/promotions.
Carpal tunnel syndrome. Heart failure that doesn't improve with common medicines. These are some signs and symptoms associated with ATTR-CM, or the cardiomyopathy of ATTR amyloidosis, a serious heart condition with symptoms that get worse over time. Amvuttra, vutrisiran, is a prescription medicine given by a healthcare provider that treats ATTR-CM in adults to reduce heart-related death, hospital stays, and urgent visits. In a clinical study, Amvuttra was proven to help people live longer and have fewer heart-related hospital stays and urgent visits over 3 years compared to placebo. Amvuttra lowers the amount of vitamin A in your blood, which can affect vision. Other side effects include pain in the arms or legs, pain in the joints, and shortness of breath. These are not all the possible side effects of Amvuttra. For prescribing information, call 1-833-256-2748 or learn more at amvuttra.com. Ask your doctor about Amvuttra for ATTR-CM.
Your Money Report now, sponsored by Eamon Gantner and Capriano, Elder Law Attorneys.
This is the Bloomberg Money Minute.
The rally for stocks this morning evaporating. There are reports of an oil tanker explosion in the Middle East, and that's casting doubt that the war will be over soon. Stock futures have turned lower from earlier gains. Oil is falling, but off the lows of the day at $90 a barrel. In other news, Live Nation reached a surprise settlement with the Justice Department. The deal was hammered out just a week into its landmark antitrust trial. The company was accused of illegally monopolizing the live music industry. Under the terms, Live Nation won't have to sell Ticketmaster. Plus, the company agreed to cap fees at 15% for tickets sold at its venues. And oil giant Shell is selling Jiffy Lube to private equity firm Monomoy Capital Partners for $1.3 billion. Shell has been pushing to cut costs and offload some of its underperforming assets. Jiffy Lube has been part of Shell's lubricants business for more than 20 years. The deal is expected to close in the second half of the year. Courtney Donahoe, Bloomberg Radio.
Beat the spring cleaning rush and call Zero Res. Springing forward feels better on freshly cleaned carpets and floors. Let Zero Res remove lingering grime and preparing your home for the brighter days ahead. Check out all the raging customer reviews online with a 4.9 Google rating. This month, buy one, get one room of carpet cleaned for free. Unlimited rooms of carpet when you ask for the DGS special. Call 314-474-2020 or go online at ZeroResSTL.com. Spell it forward or backwards. Spells the same, Zero Res.
Guys, Kevin Wheeler here for Burn Balance Complex, which is the latest tool you can find at supplement superstores. It is top of the line. This is a complete metabolism system, not just a fat burner. So you get the metabolism boost, all-day focused energy with no jitters or crash. You get help with appetite control and cravings, and it'll reduce stress by lowering cortisol levels. It is a fantastic tool, especially for those who don't want prescriptions or injections. So get out to supplement superstores, tell them Kevin Wheeler sent you, and they'll knock 30% off the Burn Balance Complex, and you can find your location at supplementsuperstores.com.
For the last 33 years, you've discovered that at Banner Construction, we pride ourselves on quality craftsmanship. We believe the single most important decision homeowners must make when considering an exterior restoration project is, who do you hire? At Banner, we provide well-engineered, meaningful, long-term solutions to transform your home into the pride of the neighborhood. Let us help you fall in love with your home all over again. Call 314-569-1050 or visit bannerconstruction.com and have a banner day.
With Fidelity Wealth Management, a dedicated advisor gets to know you and your goals to build a comprehensive plan to help grow and protect your wealth. Backed by a team of specialists, they'll analyze all your accounts, even the ones they don't manage, to keep an eye on taxes and provide proactive portfolio insights that can help you unlock your wealth's full potential. Learn more at fidelity.com/wealth. Investment minimums apply. Fidelity Brokerage Services, LLC. Member NYSE SIPC.
Confidence is knowing you're ready to handle whatever comes your way. That's what it feels like to take on your workday with Cintas. They make sure your AEDs are up to date, your fire extinguishers are tested and inspected, your floor mats are cleaned and delivered, and your workwear looks good, feels good, and is freshly laundered with the Cintas Apparel Plus program. So are you ready to take on today? Visit Cintas.com and get ready for the workday.
Glover here for my friends at Cantor Injury Law. Cantor is local, and we're here doing the work every day. We're right here in St. Louis, and we're ready to fight for you. CantorInjuryLaw.com or call 314-628-9999.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be solely based on advertisements.
This is 104.1 FM, KMOX. Here's what's happening. The Missouri Supreme Court hears arguments today on whether state lawmakers had legal authority to change congressional boundaries. A new UNC Chapel Hill study reveals middle and high schoolers spend nearly a third of their school days on their smartphones. And the Solar Energy Industries Association says solar power installations fell by 14% last year from a year earlier. It's 8:40. We need to get a check of the roads right now. Here's Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, Megan, they just cleared everything. It looks like over to the right shoulder. This crash southbound 170 north of Page. There's still a solid jam, though, back to Natural Bridge on South 170. Still can't tell what's blocking out there eastbound 70 just east of David Hokel Parkway if it's a stall or a crash, but traffic is jammed at Forestel. And then it's still slow in pockets east of 94 to the Rock Road. Southbound 61, almost midway between P and Wentzville Parkway is slow. And then it jams approaching 64 up through Prospect to between there and Lake St. Louis Boulevard because of a recent crash. Heavy at Clarkson, east of Lindbergh through the Inner Belt. Westbound 64 Hampton to Hanley, slow. Northbound 270, north of Big Bend, up to Ladue, still busy. North 55, the left lane on the ramp to North 270, still blocked from the earlier crash. Those right lanes are still slow. Back pretty close to Merrimack Bottom. All lanes are still heavy from the Union Road overpass up through Virginia. Westbound 44 still a jam west of Jameson River to Pear due to roadwork. Westbound 64 west of 50 through 159 still backed up due to roadwork. I'm Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
We'll start out with sun today, clouds later on today, but a warm day, high of 84 degrees. And then, as we were mentioning earlier here on Total Information AM, we're in store for some severe thunderstorms that could bring us some flooding downpours, hail, damaging winds, possibly a tornado. An overnight low tonight around 60. Right now, we have sunny skies, 61 degrees downtown at the Arch. A new survey reveals that preteens, teens, and their parents see artificial intelligence as a society-changing technology, but some don't necessarily see that as a negative. I got details from Mike Robb, head of research for Common Sense Media.
Yeah, well, AI is already deeply embedded in the lives of American families, and our research really makes clear that families know it. They see this technology as transformative, but they also have really, serious concerns about it, and they want actions. So I think, one of the things that you see are some of these like little bits of generational divides. I think kids and teens are genuinely optimistic in that more than half believe that AI will help society in the long run. I think parents are a little bit more ambivalent. They're split more evenly between thinking AI will help society or hurt society, but it's, it's the same technology with a slightly different outlook. But 65% of parents believe that AI will change life as dramatically as the internet or electricity. Right? That's not a fringe view. That is a majority of American parents saying that we are in a fundamentally new era. I think some of the other things that I think are interesting that come out of this, parents think they understand how their kids are using AI, but our data shows that they're wrong in some interesting ways. Parents assume teens are using AI for things like companionship or creating videos. In reality, teens are more likely to be using it to search for information and get help with schoolwork. And that perception gap matters that perception gap matters because it shapes how families talk or don't talk about AI at home. So if parents are kind of solving for the wrong problem, kids aren't going to get the guidance that they actually need. And I think one other thing I want to point out, and then we can talk about some other findings here, but this is about dependence, that 71% of parents and 60% of kids and teens believe that by the time that today's teens are adults, people will be so dependent on AI that they won't be able to function without it.
If you have been in a car accident in the past,
both generations. And I think, that is a concern shared by me as well. The more that AI gets integrated into our daily lives and our work lives and our school lives, there's a concern about like, how's this going to affect us? How's this going to affect our critical thinking and our ability to solve problems by ourselves without the use of AI? I think that is something on a lot of people's minds.
What about use in schoolwork? Because at first that was the big issue. Is that still a major concern?
Yeah, and I think it's interesting because kids and teens are much more likely than parents to see AI as a learning asset, and that it will have a positive impact on their learning in school. And parents are far less convinced, right? Less than half, only 41% think that AI is going to help kids' learning. So there's this kind of generational divide over what good learning looks like. What's interesting, though, is that both groups, and majority, like strong majorities of both groups, 70% of parents and 62% of kids and teens think that using AI tools is going to make kids less creative. And I think that is still something that's maybe a little underappreciated, but like it's unclear how that's going to shape our future learners and people who are out in the workplace, who we relied on to have certain kinds of critical creative abilities to do work and produce art and, do things that we just typically associate with humans.
I see so many applications that ask you to upload a photo, and create something off of that. And as a parent, that's a red flag for me as far as privacy. What did both groups say about privacy concerns?
It's interesting. Well, first of all, most parents know almost nothing about like the kind of safety features in AI products. So 58% of parents say they know little to nothing about the safety features in the products that teens may use. Just over a third say they know something about what kinds of safety features they have. And then when you ask them, like, well, what are you concerned about in terms of what AI is doing? Some of the top answers are that their parents and teens both are concerned about AI collecting kids and teens' information without their knowledge, and that their information might be misused by AI, and also that AI could be used to impersonate kids and teens. And these are very real concerns. I don't think they've been adequately addressed by big tech companies. I don't think most people who use AI services have any sense of how their data is being used or what happens to that picture of you once it goes into the large data set that AI uses to produce results for other people. So I think it's an absolutely valid concern, and something that parents and teens would probably welcome some additional government action on.
You mentioned, this thought that ultimately it won't be long before we have a lot of reliance on artificial intelligence. I'm thinking of people I know who have kids that are going to be entering the workforce probably sometime in the next 5 to 10 years. Are people concerned about whether there will actually be jobs that these kids are going to college for?
Absolutely. Yes. That is a concern for both parents and teens, that they don't know how AI is going to affect kids' economic outlooks. When you ask parents, more than half of them say that AI is going to make it harder for their kids to find jobs. Kids are a little bit more optimistic, but for those parents who are already in the workforce, especially if you are a parent of a kid under 18, you definitely think it's going to be harder for your child to find a job. How that actually plays out, I'm not totally sure yet. I don't think anybody has a really good sense of what jobs will lose, but maybe what jobs will also gain and how kids will be prepared for it. I think what is clear is that kids are going to need preparation for how to function in a world that has AI integrated so deeply into it. And that means not just learning which jobs are not going to be replaced by AI, but also how do you use AI well and effectively in jobs in ways that don't replace the kinds of critical thinking skills that I think we agree are necessary to be a well-functioning adult in American society.
That is Mike Robb with Common Sense Media.
If you have been in a car accident in the past and have settled your case, I may have some good news. Some unethical lawyers have people known as runners who come directly to your hospital room or home and solicit your case. It's a disbarable offense. Anyone that would hire these scumbags needs to have their heads examined. I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. Now for the good news. If this happened to you, we will sue these lowlifes and fight to get all your fees back. And then look and see if these bottom feeders also malpracticed your case and sue them for that too. You have nothing to lose and everything to gain. Visit forthepeople.com for a free consultation or call Pound Law on your cell, pound 529. If someone does this to you, call the Bar Association and report them. Let's fight these bums. Morgan & Morgan, forthepeople.com. Injured? Dial Pound Law or visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
Want to build income without a second job? Learn how real estate investing can help you create extra income one step at a time with Lifestyles Unlimited. Text radio to 88007. That's RADIO to 88007. Presented by Lifestyles Unlimited.
Make your reservations now for the 2026 Women of Achievement Award Luncheon, presented by KMOX. The award luncheon takes place Tuesday, May 19th at the Ritz-Carlton, St. Louis, and celebrates 10 outstanding volunteers from across the St. Louis metropolitan region. Doors open at 11:15, and the luncheon runs until 1:30 p.m. Reservations are just $60 per person. Sign up and find more details now at KMOX.com/events.
Welcome back to Total Information AM. I'm Megan Lynch. They've literally broken through ceilings. 5 female African-American St. Louis City firefighters, now captains. Our Maria Kina spoke with Captain Jessica Jackson not only about the promotions, but her life, her children, and what being a firefighter means to her.
Captain Jackson has been on the fire department a little over 20 years, but if you think she wanted to be a firefighter from the time she was a little girl, you'd be wrong. In 2001, a firefighter friend told her she'd make a great firefighter. She didn't agree. It wasn't until 2003 that she applied, but she still didn't think she wanted to do it. 2,000 people took the test, but Captain Jackson, she was ranked number 70.
As a woman, 20 years ago, I think women were
Probably still pretty rare in the field.
So right now we've had a total of 33 since 87 when they first hired 5 women. And then when I came on, I think I made like number 20. Let me see, there's been 5 since. So it was like number 27, 28. Yeah, so it's still rare to this day.
I think even when you see a lady firefighter, you think about it like, oh my gosh, it's a lady.
When I came on, I had never seen one. And it wasn't until I started testing that I actually met some other female firefighters.
Set this up so that listeners, when they hear this, what's it like going into a burning building?
Ooh, for adrenaline junkies, it would be the greatest thing in the world. Because as soon as the tone drops, we're sitting in the house. You see, I'm sitting here doing my paperwork. Some guys are watching TV. I could be cooking. The tones drop, and then we hear a specific tone, and then they tell us what it is and where we're going.
Building fire, first alarm, 2819 Keokuk Street.
Immediately, your heart goes from a normal 60 to 70 beats per minute to 125 to 150, like that. You run to your truck, you put all your gear on. In the process, you're thinking so many things like, what is this area? What kind of buildings are there? Is it occupied? Is it residential? Is it business? And then when you get there, you're looking for the signs of, is somebody in the house? We're looking to see other cars in the driveway, and so for me as the captain, I'm thinking things. All the gentlemen that are on my truck are in different positions. They're thinking other things. They're looking at windows in the house, egresses. How do we get in and out? The guy that's driving, he's thinking about, how do I position the apparatus? Where am I putting it? So it's a lot that goes into it. But then going into that fire is, you got to trust your training. You got to trust your gear. You got to trust your knowledge, and all of that plays a part because we know what we're doing. We're aggressive interior firefighters. And it's what I've done for 20 years. And so at this point, we see, like, if the building isn't what we think safe for us to go into, then we don't. Now things do happen, and so, but we do look for those signs. And then that's important for me at the end of the day that my guys go home.
Now you're in an area where you don't have a lot of vacancies with vacant buildings.
I've not always been in this area.
I was just going to say, tell me about an area that's not like that.
When I came on at Salisbury and Blair, and majority of our houses were dilapidated, 2-3-story, 2-family flats, and you always had to go to back and look because it never failed. You go to the back and there's no back to that building. We can't go in those. Even if there's people in there, a lot of times we can't. And then I ended up going as a private to Grand and Gravois, so I could ride the seat more and learn how to be a captain. And then they're down there, there's still, you get a lot of, well, we still get, you still get those areas to where, there are vacant buildings or they're not the best buildings to run into. And so, I did that for 4 years just to learn my job before I even came to this house. And then when my captain retired, they put me here as an acting captain. And I did that without a title. Then they semi-promoted me to acting captain without the pay. And then I did that for 3 years and then finally got promoted.
At any point when that was happening, were you like, okay, that's it? I mean, for that long?
Never. I love my job. I love being here when the citizens need us. There are situations where my friends and family needed to call 911. And I love knowing that they had that support to call. And so this is my calling, But prior to this, I took care of the elderly for 10 years in nursing homes. And then 9 more years after I became a firefighter, I did it in their home, help and take care of them. So I've always been a caretaker. I've always been here to take care of. I have 3 children. I've raised 3 children on my own. So yeah, so I'm blessed.
You start when you were like 5 years old?
30. I was 30 when I started. I'm 50 now. Yes.
You don't look it.
Thank you.
Let's do your moisturizer.
No, I came on at 30. Yeah, I tested at 28. Didn't get on until 30, but yeah. The good thing is my girls was able to see my journey. My children were 12. My children were 12, 9, and 6. I have 2 girls and a boy, and they were able to see me fight for what I wanted, to see it through to the end, and still to this day, they love it. They have their posting me on Facebook, and this is how kids are. But no, they love it. I have one child that became a Marine because I was always like, just do better than me. She's like, okay, I'm gonna be a Marine.
Oh my gosh.
She became a lieutenant, so it became this thing on who was going to be a captain first. But then she got married to a captain and got out of the service. And just in December got out, and now I'm a captain. So it's a beautiful thing.
It is, yeah.
Maria Kina, KMOX News.
Time now for today's Spotlight on Health Trends, sponsored by Wesley Financial.
Contact with nature quickly reduces stress. Researchers at the